Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Yes, I am as shocked as you are that I am here this evening. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Fiona. I use she, her pronouns. And I run What Am I Rolling, which is a twice monthly RPG one-shot podcast. And yeah, I actually didn't think I was going to be streaming tonight. I had made plans to maybe do some stuff next week, but then I had a recording get postponed. So I was like, I don't want to be sat here and on my lonesome, not doing anything on a very lovely Friday evening. I haven't got any plans or any replacement plans, so I thought, why not just spend it on the internet and be alone as well? As I assume it is quite late notice, it is a Friday. I don't expect anyone to be there, but if you are there, and you're hanging out in chat, please send me a message and stuff like that, as we're going to talk about today's RPG. But yeah, I hope you're doing well. Otherwise, I had a very good day, a good Friday overall. It was very quiet, which is my favourite kind of things. I had to go into work. And just come with little bits and pieces. And then I think I had no Friday plans other than to do a recording, which got postponed, as I just said. And I'd already finished Black Mirror. That would have been my other plans, but I'd already finished it. I'd sort of whizzed through it. Would recommend season 6. I think there's some really good episodes in there, but I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. Yeah. So yeah, today I am going to look at an RPG that my co-host Hamilton suggested. He suggested it for yesterday's stream, but I'd already sort of picked Fate Accelerated. So today we're going to look at Dragonbane or October. We'll go into that. But I thought I would just say right at the beginning, because I've realised I haven't been doing this at the beginning of my streams. This is in no way sponsored or an endorsement of the games I'm reviewing on this channel. Like, I've actually worked with Free League previously. I'll have to just do that little quick disclaimer. In the sense of, I did a sponsored Alien stream back in January, and I'm going to be doing some other sponsored streams for Girls Run These Worlds in the future on that sort of thing. But I do get some review copies of stuff, and I got a review copy of everyone got the quick start, to be fair, for Dragonbane, and I get a few other bits and pieces as well. But this is actually something I bought myself. The starter set is out shipping now. I think mine's in the post, which is quite exciting. But you know what would be helpful if I actually turn over to what it looks like. So you'll probably recognise the imagery. That's not digital. Spoilers. Let's get Chrome up here. So yeah, so this is what it looked like when it was announced last year. When did it get funded? It doesn't say anymore. Quick start. Kickstarter never says when things are funded anymore. But yeah, when it got announced, there was a huge sort of hubbub about it because Draka Octomore, or Dragonbane for us English audiences, is the Scandinavian tabletop RPG. It's bigger than D&D, or it was bigger than D&D when it came out about 40 years ago. If you're interested in knowing Draka Octomore, which I know I'm probably let's say, pronouncing incorrectly, hashing it out, is the translation is dragons and demons, which I mean, says what it is what it says on the tin, right? But they've had it as Dragonbane for other audiences. I thought I'd quickly go down and let's have a see. Just reading out from again, just having a quick taste of it before we dive into the rule set. So. It was the first and biggest tabletop RPG that I launched back in '82. It's now celebrating its 40th anniversary with a brand new and reimagined edition, with one foot firmly planted in the heritage of decades of Swedish gaming, and the other in the modern, innovative game design which Free League Publishing is known for worldwide. And yeah, I know it's going to go on to say it as well, but like obviously Free League, very very famous European tabletop RPG publisher. They're well known for obviously Tales from the Loop. That's sort of their first couple of games that came out, but also they've had Symbaroum, Coriolis, Morkborg, you name it. It's probably been influenced by Free League somewhere. Oh, Death in Space. The other thing I'd like to say as well is that I did actually interview Thomas, who is the CEO of Free League, who sort of spearheaded this particular one. The interview is like 20 minutes long on the Wear channel, because he was a very, very busy man, and I think he'd already done quite a few interviews about Dragonbane at this point, and was probably a little bit sick of it, about talking about the same things over again for people who haven't played Dragonbane back in the olden days. But yes, and an interesting thing to note, it says it here on the quick start page. I'm losing my mind. Kickstarter page is that it's a translation of Magic World by Chaosium originally, but then it went through its own development and has now is now gone through these iterations, different editions over the decades, and now new reimagined one really gets sold. And it's got a great. I mean, look at that image, cracking image as well. The illustrator is Johan Egokrans, who people will probably know for Vasan or Vaesen or Vasan, depending on how you pronounce it. I pronounce it the same way 3 times. But he wrote a Nordic sort of fairy tale book called Vasan, and then that got turned into an RPG, and now his work is being used to illustrate other free books as well. So very iconic. So I really love that. And yeah, there's an example of the page there, but we don't want to get into that. If you want to buy your own version of Dragonbane, this is what it sort of looks like on the Free League website. Again, I'm covering up all the important bits, I know, but if you want to know what you get in the sort of quick start guide, I think this is it. Yeah, I think this is the quick start one. This is all you can get just now. Let me move it slightly on the screen, so there we go, so you can see this of the text a little bit. So yeah, it's described as a classic fantasy tabletop role-playing game full of magic, mystery, and adventure. Designed from the ground up to facilitate fast and furious play, with very little prep time and adventures that are a breeze to run. That sounds like, you know, my ears, to be honest with you. Dragonbane is a game with rooms for laughs at the table, while still offering brutal challenges for adventurers. So it's almost like, I remember when Thomas was talking to me about it, it was that sort of idea that we almost have this sort of meta idea of what, you know, ideally the players and the characters should be like this, but reality is that they're not like that at all. So it's a D20 based rule system, which we'll go into obviously. Excuse me. The adventure book comes with 12 complete adventures, which can be played separately or tied together using the epic Secret of the Dragon Emperor campaign. It also has, in this quick start set, Alone in Deepfall Breach, which is a solo adventure, which is interesting. A lot more games, certainly from Free League, are starting to put out solo mode for stuff. Obviously, The One Ring has Strider mode. I'm sure The Walking Dead will probably have a solo mode as well, although that sounds incredibly scary. Alien doesn't, as far as I'm aware, but it's interesting because I think they're trying to get across that these games are meant for everyone, and sometimes it's really difficult to get people around a table to play certain games, you know, and certainly there are certain big companies already out there. But yeah, we might check that out. I actually am tempted to run it through, actually, a solo one for myself, because I do love doing solo RPGs, and maybe I'll do that next week now, assuming that I'm being able to. It also comes with a full colour map of the Misty Vale adventure setting, so that is where this game takes place. It's like basically one big veil, what I remember Thomas telling me about. And I quite like that. It's not like a huge big realm per se, it is in a veil. It is in a small, easily measurable bit, essentially. You get some playing cards as well, so combat initiatives, again, very freely using cards for initiative, and you get other bits and pieces to hand out to players as well. You get also 10 transparent polyhedral dice, including 2 d20s with a custom design. Now, I think, if I remember correctly, the 20 will have a dragon design on it, 1 will have a demon design. I think that's how it works. Again, we'll come in. 5 pre-generated characters to play, and I'll have to say, the character classes, the races, I'm sure there's a better term for it that they use, are great. Really, really fun, and very different. Well, very different. They're not different, but I instantly was like, all of them, I think they're really, I think the art really holds up with it. See what I mean? And it really makes me think of like, oh yeah, I'd love to play that character. Oh yeah, I'd love to play that character. And you get cardboard standees representing various characters and monsters. It's almost like doing like a Pathfinder type, like beginner's box essentially, because I don't know if anyone's had the beginner's box for that. It comes with so many standout minis and stuff, which is great, and a double-sided battle map. So that's what you get in starter set. Again, if I had one here, I would show you, but unfortunately, as I said, mine is in the post. But without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So I'm just going to take away my Chrome, click of a button, and then I'm going to go back up to the main rules. So this obviously, well, I assume that this is going to be like the start. They've got different booklets, so similar to how they do with the One Ring. So this is the first page, or the cover, sorry, of Dragonbane. And instantly, there you go. Look at that image. I am the knight. Bat Duck Eternal. I also love the font book as well. One thing I noticed whilst I was skimming through earlier, and I'm going to do a quick skim now, is that if you look at the top of the little banners at the top, they actually changed. There's different little heads on them. which I really love. I think that's a really cool little design. They could have easily just done it for every single page, but they haven't. So good job on the interior art, guys. I noticed that. Cool. Let's just dive straight in. Oh, there they are. There's Thomas. He's at the top there, lead designer and editor. Johan Igakrans, there he is. There's some additional art by Aston. I'm going to have to zoom in. Old lady eyes. Additional art by Anton Vitus and Nicholas Brandt even. Hey, like I said, I think I said in the last stream or 2 streams ago, I can't remember what it is, but I love having plain versions of things. Sometimes I do feel like the art, is it more art than book, which I know you shouldn't judge at all. But sometimes I'm like, oh god, I have to really focus on where the words is. Here it's really straightforward. It's very clear. The writing on the page is good as well. Also, Matthias there. Matthias Johnson Hike. I interviewed him when the new Symbaroum came out, 5th edition. Symbaroum is really cool, by the way. This idea of a forest that's trying to kill everyone, or a big fan of forests killing. So yeah, I was just like, oh, cool. What I also like is how in this version, I hadn't noticed this before. I don't think they do this in the quick start. That okay, you got the credits for people, but actually tells you what they actually did, what they wrote. I rarely see that in books. There was a little discussion about it on the interwebs. Oh God, who knows when? But they're talking about like how in Warhammer books they don't credit any of the writers, or they don't do proper credits. Nothing like this. And the reason they don't do it is because they didn't want people to get hate. They didn't want people to get death threats or anything like that because they didn't like a particular rule, which is really sad, isn't it? Like I think you should always be celebrated for what you write. Especially if it goes towards making a tabletop RPG, because if you want to put it on your CV or something, if you can't point to your name in a book, like what else can you do? Say something else about that as well. Yeah, I just always think it's really important to credit properly, and it's nice that they do it in here. Riddermound is, sorry, just seeing it up there. So Andreas there, they have written, sorry, don't know who they are. But look, Riddermound is, I think, the starting adventure, I seem to remember, in the quick start guide. And obviously the Secret Dragon Empire, that is elsewhere. Oh, hello, who are we talking? Ah, Brian! I assume that's you, Brian. Nice to see you. I agree. That's really cool to see contributors that have done. I've never considered about avoiding hate mail or hate tweets. That is really sad, but I like this. I agree. Nice to see you there, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Sorry, you can tell I'm new to Twitch because I am trying to be like, enhance this box for me so I can actually see what people are writing. But I hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying your day off, my friend. But cool. Let's move on a little bit to the actual dehance. Let's move on to the contents, our favourite page. I will just note that this is over 100 pages, so already my eyes are going to glaze over, which I know is cruel. There's only 8 chapters in this book. I had a quick look beforehand. And I thought we would focus on primarily the character creation, a sort of a quick look over at the different sort of characters you can play, how to create one, the skills, combat, and then we don't really need to look at gear. We're cool to look at a bit of the bestiary in chapter 7, and then the adventures, I'll leave that as is, essentially. But it seems quite short, right? Only 8 chapters. So that's quite good and concise if you just want to hand it out to someone to have a quick read and find stuff. Because that's the thing I always find with when you've got starter sets, is that you're desperately trying to find something in a very small book. In a large book. So it's actually not too bad. I think I just always bulk whenever I see over like triple figures. But let's go to the we'll quickly look at the preface. I won't read it out completely because I bet it's going to be Thomas talking about how he got into Draka Octomori. Already, yeah, sitting by a fireplace. Tell you what, enhance properly. Everyone else can read it as well. Yeah, I'm going to read it out, why not? So the preface says, sitting by a fireplace in an old house by a lake in the woods, as dusk turned to night outside, listening intently to my older brother vividly describing the fierce orcs that facing me, grabbing the strange and magical polyhedral dice, getting ready to fight or die. That is my earliest memory I can recollect of playing Draka Octomor, a game that it was synonymous with role-playing games for a generation of Swedish kids. It was the summer of '85, and little did I know what lasting impact this moment would have on my life. I mean, very fair. He is now one of the biggest, the head of one of the biggest tabletop RPG publishing companies in the world. So good for him. Despite what its name might suggest, the origins of this game are found in early Chaosium titles. Its very first edition in '82 was a direct translation of Magic World. Soon, the game took on a life of its own, evolving through a dozen various editions in Sweden over the decades. You know what's really funny is that he said the exact same thing to me in the interview. I think he wrote it and has just memorized it by note. So that's quite funny. Now that I'm reading it through, I'm like, oh yes, I remember him. Just repeat by rote. Hey, if you've got it down good, you've got it down good, right? Now returning to a reimagined Draka more to an international audience under the title of Dragonbane, we have to ask ourselves, what is this game really? For us and many others in the Swedish role-playing community, Draka Octomore was a touchstone of our hobby and needed no definition or explanation. For the rest of the role-playing world, the game was completely unknown. Agreed, like I didn't hear about it or didn't know about it until I got the Kickstarter notification that it had been funded in 4 minutes, so, it shows my ignorance there. Our quest was to journey far and wide into 4 decades of Nordic role-playing history and to find essential elements of this game. What truly made it great. Then, to bring those pieces of legacy back to life and mould them into a new game for the 2020s, using 4 decades of evolution in game design and our own decade in creating Free League RPGs. There's always that worry, I think, when people talk about nostalgia, right? Obviously, I'm sure people here have seen the stuff with TSR, the new TSR, is it NU TSR, and it's very interesting to see it as someone who's come to this game, this community in the last 5 years. I do consider myself quite new to it, even though I feel quite knowledgeable about it, and I feel quite confident about it. But it's always that worry when somebody talks about nostalgia and I used to play games like this. You know what, I've said it in another stream, but there was somebody on Twitter I saw who followed one of my accounts, and in their bio it said I've been playing since '83 and I've clocked over 20,000 game hours, and I'm just like, oh. And I don't mean that as a really derogatory way. Like, okay, if you know how many hours you've played, good for you. I know, like, you have like tabletop RPGs, VTTs, so virtual tabletops. They obviously clock how many hours and how many games you've done. I feel like if you have to tell people how many hours you've done as a way of proving or as a badge, it's just, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of giving stats like that. Like, I've met improvisers who've said that I've got 20 years of improvising, and I've gone on stage with them and I've gone, gosh, you're not a great scene partner. You're not a great person to take care of. So you might know the rules, but you might not be, you might not be a good player in the sense of teamwork. So I always feel a bit worrisome that people hold on to these stats as a badge. Just thinking about my oh no, the new TSR, yikes. I completely agree, Brian. It's like, no, avoid. What else you said? I think nostalgia can be harnessed for good to enthusiastically bring other new people into the hobby because you remember what it was like to be a new player. Also, it can be harnessed for evil through gatekeeping. 100%. I feel like the same way with we had it with Spelljammer for DM's book club when we started looking at it. The story is, and I'll do the short version because obviously I'm not here to talk about D&D. I'm here to talk about Dragonbane. Is that a long time ago in the early DM book club days, I found this stat block called the GIF. And people will know, or GIF, depending on how you pronounce it, these space hippos that wield guns. And I found it in the 5th edition book, and I was running for content. I was like, we'll just use this stat block and talk about it. I didn't know that it had roots in Spelljammer, this whole setting, until much, much later. And the only reason I found out about it was because somebody found this episode on YouTube, maybe about a year or so later, and published it to a forum. And I had so many people come onto the YouTube channel to tell me how wrong I was and how dare I sully the good name. And especially I had certain opinions about GIF or GIF that I don't necessarily hold anymore, but it was just something at the time I was like, these are silly creatures. Who would play a GIF in a Spelljammer campaign? Because they're all so bombastic and I'd only played it in a one-shot, that sort of thing. The thing that they took immediate dislike for is because I said in the episode description, all things GIF. And of course it wasn't. And it just kept on and on me. So in the end, I had to turn off the comments for it. But so yeah, I've seen the other side of it in that sense. But I 100% agree. I love bringing people into tabletop role-playing games. I remember I ran like a one-page one-shot from Grant Howitt, and one of the people at the table had never played a tabletop RPG before, and they came up to me afterwards and said, "Can I keep the sheet with the rules on? I know somebody that would love this game, and I want to play it for them, run it for them tomorrow." And that is such a joy. I absolutely love that sort of feeling. So I completely agree. I don't know. I always feel like nostalgia, certainly nowadays, does have a bad rep, perhaps. But you're completely right. If we can harness it for good, God, imagine what we could do. We would be absolute power. Oh wait, oh no. The end result is a fantasy role-playing game filled with magic, mystery, and adventure, designed from the ground up to facilitate fast and furious play. I've already said this earlier. That's fine. Through a toolbox allowing you to tell fantasy stories of all kinds, Dragonbane is a game with room for laughs at the table and even a pinch of silliness sometimes, whilst at the same time offering brutal challenges for adventurers. We call this playstyle Mirth and Mayhem role-playing games. I love it. M&M. Excellent. Great for long campaigns, but also perfect for one-shots. If you want to have some quick fun at your table for a night. This is the next step in a journey that started 40 years ago, and we're thrilled to have you along for the ride. Oh, thank you, Thomas. I'm glad to be here. Let's see your game of Mirth and Mayhem, right? Yeah. Right. Now, one thing I would say, started is that certainly in this particular PDF, I know they have it on other games as well, because obviously that gets the feel of it. Look at this plate. Look at this. It's beautiful. It's you know what? It makes me think of old-fashioned, not old-fashioned, but old fairy tale books. You would open it up to one side and you'd be like, "Once upon a time," and stuff like. Look how gorgeous that castle is. Like, climate change has had a number on the world around it, but it is beautiful. God, I wonder who does their roofs anyway. Let's do the little top. So enhance. That is a great intro. I thought so as well. So get ready for this. All right. It was in the oldest times, before the world was covered in forest and iron. Before the world was covered in forest, and the iron was tamed by dwarven masters. Before the advent of humanity and the mastery of the bread and ale-making arts. What a great paragraph. The world was then ruled by dragons and demons. Yes, draconic serpents and demonic creatures were the princes and princesses of the oldest times. They were the primordial forces through which the world and its primeval matter was formed. The sky, the mountains, and the fiery oceans of magma, the unthinking life. Unthinkable life. That's me. Tag yourself, I'm unthinkable life. They were opposing principles that made the world complete. Law and order versus chaos and madness. The stable and fixed versus the wild and eternally fluid. Dragons versus demons. The most ancient record tells of a draconic empire that once spanned much of the known world, where the emperor's peace was upheld by cruel dragon-mounted knights. But the text also contained traces of another great power from a different age, governed by demon princes who shrouded the world in madness and savage rage. Remnants of this realm still rest in the earth beneath us. In the depths of the great forests and the chasms of the mountains slumber memory of ancient eras where vicious beasts. The hostility between dragons and demons has brought death and ruin upon the ancient civilizations. It almost seems like a fundamental law of nature, that anything created by dragons alone is corrupted by demons, and that anything born of demonic will is burnt to ashes by dragonfire. Oh, that's so good! Sorry. I was like, yeah! I can imagine like some sort of like electronic bass underneath, like Metallica or something. However, this basic and this basic truth also gives cause for hope, for it has created the conditions for other nations where humans and other races have been able to flourish and go their own way. Oh, cool. So this idea of the lands of it's sort of almost in the back. It can be in the background, perhaps. That's cool. But the ancient guardians of order and destruction will never leave the world to its fate. As sure as night follows day, the time will come again when dragons and demons contend for power over humanity, nature, and the eternal mysteries. Whoa, how good is that? What a... Even the police are coming to find out who wrote that amazing piece. Go away, brothers, I'm busy. Wow. Okay, so this book contains the full rules of the game. It may seem overwhelming at first. You're not wrong, Pre-League. But don't worry, this book walks you through every aspect of the game step by step. You need not read everything before you start playing. That's good. Looks like, yep, the GM is just called the Game Master, which is a shame. Oh, I would have loved it. I love the proper, I don't know, Dragon and Demon Master. DD, DDM. So yeah, so a description. Oh, brilliant. Most rules in this game are written to you in the second person, i.e. speaking to you. They apply to you. Rules that apply to you also apply to others in the game, both player characters and NPCs, unless expressly stated otherwise. Cool. Alright, that's rolling dice. It uses different types of dice. A 4, a 6, an 8, a 10, a 12, and 20 sides. Again, it's sort of going over for those people who are brand new to it. That is fine. Multiple dice, skills, etc. Playing online. We've got a bit about playing online, which is good. I am always a big fan of things that are say up front that it can be played online, rather than saying it at the end like an additional thing. Solo, great. Playing safely. In Dragonbane, you are largely in control of the story, and with this comes responsibility. The player characters will face great dangers and difficult challenges, but no player should find the situations they experience unpleasant or offensive. It is important that everyone around the gaming table is having fun and feeling. Before starting the game, talk things through and see if someone wants certain subjects to be kept out of the game. Always respect a player who wants to pause and discuss what is happening in the game, or even leave the table if the player so chooses. You might also want to talk about what happened after the game session. Look at that. That's 2 paragraphs, which just nicely puts into words succinctly. Instead of, I think sometimes, because we're always very hot on safety tools and very much on session 0 stuff, which I do not wish to dismiss at all. It is so important to have these tools, right? Like, we have them for Girls Run These Worlds. We're always at session 0. We always do lines and veils, all that sort of thing. However, if you're new to the space or you're just coming into safety tools first time, I totally get why people might flinch at them, because they're like, I just want to play the game. I don't want more admin that doesn't affect me, even though it affects everyone. So to have something like that is just very succinct and simple. Of course, yeah, I know if they did a bit more, they could say, here's some examples of safety tools. But I think that's so important, and so it's good to see that early on as well. What have you said? I love that. I didn't know what to think of the game when it was crowdfunding, but that flavor text really sells it. It really does, doesn't it? Oh, I'll put it this way: they're good writers. Those Free League writers, I think they'll go far. I've got some abbreviations at the end there. So, yeah, the usual. So, strength, constitution, agility. Yeah, Free League are fond of their agility. Intelligence, willpower, charisma, hit points, willpower points. GM and non-playable characters. Alright, let me zoom out a little bit to see where we are. How do we start playing, guys? We decide who the game master is. It's probably you who's reading this book, isn't it? I always like that. Sometimes they say pick somebody, and then it goes, it's probably you. If nobody wants to do it, it's going to be you, my friend. But again, there's some optional rules in this as well. So they're in these little green stony sidebars, which is great. They give the game more depth and complexity, but the game works fine without them. Good. I think I said it before on the previous stream, but when I read Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay with Hamilton, I enjoyed the base mechanics, and then it got to a point where it was there are too many optional rules, which I know people would love to have, and it gets it really crunchy. And I think some of them really worked, but I was like, there's too many of them. I can't imagine anyone playing a full-on Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay with everything included in. Certainly not straight away. One thing to note is that Free League are a big fan of this measuring time stuff. Let me do it so we can see it. So yeah, rounds, stretch, and shifts. So again, I know this is usual in all things, but it's good to note what they're called, essentially. So rounds, obviously, in combat, each round takes about 10 seconds. Cool. A stretch is basically a short rest. They would say it. So it's about 15 minutes, that's a really short one for that. I think in Alien it's roughly about an hour for I think take a breather. Oh god, the alien. Okay, well, we can calm down now. And then a shift is 6 hours. Look at this, enough time to hike 15 kilometers in 6 hours. I don't know, what pace are you going at? I'm not going to make 15 kilometers in 6 hours. I might die. Oh no, I'm thinking of 15 miles. Yeah, I couldn't do 15 miles, but 15 kilometers. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I just realized. All right. Oh, look at this page. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. I get real proper Discworld vibes from these sort of plates. They're just really, really good. Oh, you have to run. Join your overview. I'll catch you later. No worries. Thanks for joining for the beginning bit. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a good day, Brian. All right, heading on in. Ah, that's it. It's called In. The adventurer you play in Dragonbane is called your player character. Yep, they are your avatar, your eyes and ears in the game world. Take your characters seriously and portray them as if they were a real person. Try to put yourself truly in their shoes. All good. Here's how you create a character in a nice, simple little box. That's all good. Already, I can see that you can choose or roll your kin. It's the same in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. You could, the more you rolled and took whatever the random result was, the more XP you got. I don't think that's the same here, but that's what I always think of when you can roll kin. Very cool. We've got some pre-generated characters. So, there are 6 playable kin in Dragonbane. Human, halfling, dwarf, elf, mallard, wolfkin. Humans are the most common kin, but you're free to choose any of them. You can also roll for it to see what you got. So, yes, as you can tell, humans are the default, that's not right. It's the majority there, and then obviously lesser. Again, that is very much Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, but let's face it, you want to play a mallard. You've seen the picture on the front cover, they look great. Each kin has an innate ability that no other kin can learn, but mallards have too. Another reason why you'd pick mallards. In most cases, such abilities require willpower points, or WP. Write down your innate ability in the abilities and spells section on your character sheet. Language. All player characters in Dragonbane can speak, read, and write a common language, which, for simplicity's sake, is called the Tomancum. What? Let me rephrase that. The common tongue. Oh, well, that's any monetization out the window, huh? Most creatures the player characters encounter will know this language, but there are a few exceptions. Non-human kin often have their own language. And to understand this, the language skill can also be skillful. Great. Now, if I'm going to zoom out a tiny bit. Dehance. So I seem to think, yeah, all the kin are like literally a column on the page. A mallard, excellent, and a wolf kin. Thank goodness. That's the other thing I cannot abide is when there's lots of information, but it's unnecessary for when you're starting to create a character. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love a additional source book that had more history on, like, the history of halflings here, or the dwarves, or the mallards, or the wolfkin. I would love to know more about them, but I don't need it in character creation per se, right? If I'm just starting out. So yeah, here we go. So you get first name generator. Love that. Only 6 though. You'd think you do a D12 because D12 is the best, aren't they? But their ability is adaptive, so when rolling for a skill, you can choose to make the roll using another skill of your choice. You must be able to justify it, how you'd use it to select to use the select skill rather than the normal one. Oh, that's very good. I wonder if that free. You have to spend free willpower points. I guess that is the case. Oh, excuse me, I'm sort of all over the place. Typical Friday night hijinks, right? Sorry, I'll read them all out. Whatever. It's a Friday, I'll read them all out. So humans are the last born. The other king have songs and legends about time before the dawn of humanity. Today, humans have spread across much of the known world. Many are peasants living in little villages clustered around castles and palaces. Others are warriors, sworn to protect the peasants and their vulnerable settlements, markets, and trade caravans from the dangers of the world. Still, more are adventurers, fearless humans who venture out into the unknown to search for glory, gold, and knowledge. Look at guys. so detailed, so beautiful. Even this person's got like a little bit of a YouTube backlit thing going on on the cloak, so you can tell they're different people. Oh, very good. All right, halflings. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this. I think I would love to have. I assume with the standees as well. When I get it, I'll probably try and take some pictures. Standees are probably in that same design. They look so good. Hopefully, they're as vibrant as they are on my screen. Halflings are short humanoids often found in the hilly farmlands, where they live in urban dwellings with well-stocked larders. They are modest and amenable by nature, with a natural affinity for hearth and home. Halflings are neither warlike nor ambitious, but highly drawn to epic tales and beautiful songs from days long gone. From time to time, this desire can lead them to the safety of their homes in search of grand adventures. Because of their vulnerability and fear of the tall ones, they are good at staying hidden and quickly getting out of critical situations. Oh, tag yourself. I'm definitely Bumble. I'm either Bumble or Brine. I think Bumble on a good day, Brine on another day. So their innate ability is hard to catch. You can activate this ability when dodging an attack, getting a boon to evade the roll. Ooh, boons and banes, I think they're called for the advantages and disadvantages. I think that's what they're called. All right, going on to dwarves. Dwarves are the oldest of the elder folk, at least according to their own chroniclers. They are immensely proud and traditional peoples whose culture is steeped in ancient customs and grandiose ballads of heroic ancestors. Dwarves feel a strong connection with the bedrock and the roots of the world. They are skilled blacksmiths and artisans, admired for their ability to craft wondrous items of precious metal, as well as iron and stone. Dwarves are known as fierce warriors, armed with axes, warhammers, and other heavy melee weapons forged in their underground smithies. Some other great names. Cinderrock, absolutely. It's like, get off that app. Get back to work. Ooh, jumped ahead a little bit. Ability, Unforgiving. You can activate this ability when attacking someone who's harmed you in the past, at least 1 point of damage, and get a boon to the roll. It does not matter when the damage was inflicted. It may be wise to write down the names of everyone who harms you so you don't forget them. Oh, if I was playing a Dwarven King, I would 100% have my list. I'd be Arya Stark. Joffrey. Let's see what else we got. Elves. Elves are an ancient kin that for eons have watched over the forests of the world. Classic elves. They are guided by the stars, which they regard as divine beings capable of peering into the deepest mystery. Elven culture is meditatively introverted and sometimes difficult for outsiders to understand. Typical elves. However, it is clear that they are driven by other more metaphysical concerns than the lust for gold and glory often found in dwarves and humans. Nonetheless, the kin includes many powerful warriors, widely respected and praised by the bards for their skill with both sword and bow. Ooh. I realised, I had this thought the other day, the reason why I was like, why am I struggling to read out loud sometimes? I know sometimes sight reading is difficult for many people, but you know what, I realised what it was, is that I came back, you know when you have like a flashback to like a big turning point in your life. So I remember when we did like a reading group at school, like primary school or something like that, and we all had a book, and previously we'd all gone round and like read out a page in the book, and we're all in a group, like 6 of us with the teacher, and I start reading out loud and I said, no Fiona, you have to read in your head. And they all looked at me like I was an idiot, if I was being silly. I was like, well, no, we're reading in a reading group, so we have to read out loud. Like, no, Fiona, you have to read in your head. Do you read out loud all the time? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And so I felt shunned for reading out loud instead of reading in my head. So now I'm really struggling to do the opposite way around. So there you go. That sort of trauma brought up for you there, live on a Friday night. How's that for you? Anyway, what do elves have as their innate ability? They have inner peace. Oh, it doesn't have any willpower points. I guess it's just I can see it's just an innate ability in that sort of sense. As an elf, you can meditate deeply, doing a stretch rest, so that's short rest, about 15 minutes. You heal an additional D6 hit points and an additional and D6 extra willpower points, and can recover from an additional condition. Whoa. However, you are completely unresponsive during your meditation and cannot be wakened. Yeah, take that. None of this like, oh, I get to rest for 4 hours and then, oh, I can be on guard. No. I mean, it's 15 minutes of being completely in a meditative state. That's what we should be doing in yoga anyway, or not be looking at our phones. We should be. I don't. I look at it at all. Weirdly enough, I don't look at my phone at all when I'm streaming. I think once I did. I think during the One Ring one, somebody was trying to message me, and I was like, "I'm busy," as I'm desperately trying to read as well. So, tell you what, if you don't want to look at your phone, do a stream. Oh, here we go. I mean, look at this. Oh, just look at it. But more important, look at this duck. Look at this duck. Mallard. The origin of the mallards is shrouded in mystery. Some scholars claim that they came from a mighty island realm that's swallowed up by the sea thousands of years ago. If that is not a source book out in the next couple of years, I don't know what will be. Others believe them to be the result of a failed magical experiment. Whatever the truth may be, these feathered humanoids are a common sight in the world. They have a knack for trade, and their agitated quacking is often an integral part of the soundscape around the marketplaces and trade caravans. Incredible. Oh, hello, Dead Truthrush. How are you doing? What a duck, right? Look at so yeah, just because you're just joining. So I'm looking through Dragonbane, which is an RPG by Free League that Hamilton, our wonderful friend Hamilton, suggested for yesterday's stream, but I didn't get to it till now. But yes, this is all about it's a fantasy one. You can play a mallard or enhance or a wolfkin, which we're getting on to next. But how cool is that duck? So what was I saying? However, some mallards seek fortunes as brigands, pirates, or mercenaries. Go away, Rozzers. I'm busy. We've got lots of pleas going around here today. Who knows, am I in the Badlands or not? Despite their diminutive size, they are fierce in battle and feared by many for their murderous rage. I mean, look at that duck. That murder in his eyes, that's enhanced. Duck. Incredible. Incredible duck. But hang on, let's look at these names. So, Quackasum, Hackleswell. I'm definitely tag yourself. I'm definitely Groddy in that one, or Splats. I don't know if I want to be called Splats. Oh, but of course, you get 2 innate abilities. Of course, when you pick mallards, you get 2 innate abilities. Well, obviously, I'm going to be knock a dang elf. Well, the elves, they get this really cool skill, Dead Toothbrush. You get, you can additionally heal some extra points in your short rest, but you're unresponsive and you can't be awakened. So there's not, you sleep through whatever surprise ambush happens whilst you're having a break from the big fight. But yeah, you get 2 innate skills if you're a mallard. Enhance. Okay. Ill-tempered, costs 3 will points. Mallards tend to have caloric temper? Oh, not heard of that word before. Don't know that's how it's pronounced either. You can activate this ability, no action, when making a skill roll and get a boon to its an advantage. You also become angry if you're not already. This ability cannot be used for rolls against intelligence or intelligence-based skills. Okay, but it's just... Hang on. That's my secret. I'm an angry duck. Oh man, I just want to play this game so badly. Ability also, you get webbed feet. As a mallard, you also get a boon to all swimming rolls. You always move at full speed in or underwater. Oh, very cool. Very, very cool. Pass. Was it? Pass, smash. Is that not how the meme goes? I don't know. But maybe it's save the best to last. Wolfkin. Wolfkin are the untamed fury of the wilds. They may be highly intelligent creatures, and like the elves, they may have an unfailing tendency to sink into thought, pondering the mysteries of the universe. Ooh, a bit metaphysical then. But simmering underneath the surface are ancient hunting instincts and an unquenchable anger over the past wrongs committed against wolfkin, wolves, and the wilderness in general. Eco-warriors. As hunters and pathfinders, they are second to none, but wolfkin can also be found as heavily armed mercenaries or mystics and healers in the human settlement. Ooh, look how badass. you imagine, like, it's if you do like a Guardians of the Galaxy type thing, if I enhance, you've got there as your sort of Rocket Raccoon, and then I am Mallard at the top. That's a double. That's the odd couple you want in your team for sure. What's our innate ability? Hunting instincts. You can use this ability to designate a creature in sight or a creature you can catch the scent of as your prey. This counts as an action in combat. You can follow the scent of your prey for a full day and then spend a further willpower point, not an action, to gain a boon for the attack against your prey. Okay, so you're basically hunters marking all of your prey. That's pretty good. Right, next step though, we've picked Mallard, obviously, but you might have picked another kin. We won't judge you. We're judging you. Next step is to select a profession for your character. All player characters are adventurers. Yep. But you've learned a thing or two before the game begins. Your choice of profession will determine much about your character, mainly your skills. Your your trained starting skills must be chosen from those listed for your profession. Your profession also determines what gear you get started out with and what heroic ability. There are 10 professions to choose from, all described on the following pages. You're either free to select one or roll random. And so what we've got here, we've got artisan, bard, fighter, hunter, knight, mage, mariner, merchant, scholar, and thief. All right, very good, very good. Let's have a look-see then. Don't necessarily need to look at these in too much detail, but it'd be interesting to see what their did it say? What's their thing? Starting a heroic ability. Yeah, what do you get for heroic? Hello. Sorry, I thought the shop was shut. Oh, don't look. Oh, I'm gonna have to read this out, aren't I? I just didn't expect that. I was like, oh, okay. Now this might sound a bit pretentious, but whatever you're making, you must be able to imagine the finished thing and then make it real. That's really that's the whole of it, really. Well, tools are important tool. Good tools. Alright. Okay, I like that. With a decent hammer, a trowel, and mortar, a skilled artisan can astonish even the gods. They are proud individuals, these tamers of nature and physical matter, whether they be builders, bricklayers, wainwrights. I love the word wainwrights. That's such a good word to use. Blacksmiths, tanners, or coopers. Artisans are driven by a solemn mission to bring order and structure out of chaos. They construct bridges, houses, and fortifications, forge weapons and tools, mold pots and jugs, make barrels, and craft leather armor from tanned animal hides. Every village needs capable artisans. And heroic abilities. Oh, I see. They're sort of like talents or I'm thinking of feats, essentially. Cool. And you get to roll for your gear as well. That's quite good. There's a little bit of a change. Yeah, nicknames. Cool. Yeah. I take a material. Yeah, take a material and an action. What about? Oh, we've only got 5. Let's just call you Strong Fist as number 3. God. Oh. What is that guy famous for? What's his nickname? Strong Fist. Why? Don't ask. Don't ask. It's made even worse by that hot poker. Right. Okay. Moving on. The bard. Oh, let's zoom out a little bit. See what we got. Yes. Good. Oh no! I keep going back to the artisan. A few off keys and a couple of lost words, or a troll sneeze that sprays over the audience. It doesn't matter. To captivate an audience, all you really need is charisma. Let you shine like a midsummer sun, like me. Yes, absolutely. It is a good word, right? I have to say Wainwright more often. Wainwright. Maybe that'll be the surname of another character I do at some point. Alright, the memory of ancient deeds and riches is kept alive by bards. They are singers, musicians, and entertainers. Many travel between inns and marketplaces where they earn their keep through the telling of bards and fairy tales. Others perform at princely courts, reciting glorious poems of dragons and heroic kings. Many bards see themselves as chroniclers, responsible for preserving contemporary, lost my breath, deeds in the memory of future generations. They are always on the lookout for people and achievements worthy of being immortalized in epic verse, and any bard worth their salt is always working on at least a few masterpieces of song, music, or poetry. That just sounds like me. I'm always working on a few masterpieces. It doesn't mean they're finished. It doesn't mean they're done. Oh, okay, Rhymesmith. Again, that's my rap name. DJ Rhymesmith. Look at this guy. Well, of course, to be a warrior, one must be able to kill things, creatures and monsters and such. Being able to avoid getting killed is also good. Then, well, there are different weapons, different techniques, and anyway, the basics are simple: kill and avoid dying. Yeah, that feels very much like something like a Terry Pratchett thing would say, right? Guards, exactly. So this is the fighter. What have we got for fighters then? Fighters earn their living by following the way of the sword. It may, of course, be also the way of the spear or the crossbow, but a fighter's speciality is always weapon proficiency and violence. But this is not to say that all fighters are driven by bloodlust. For some, it is a matter of professional pride to achieve the maximum effect with minimal bloodshed. Others are lazy and prefer saber rattling to actual combat. Ooh, saber rattling. I've heard that word. Many fighters are troubled souls, haunted by nightmares and bad memories of a life spent in the company of death. Oh, what a line. They can therefore be surprisingly sentimental, prone to tears and compassionate embraces. Feels very a very weird reference, but it feels like those band of mercenaries that you see in Tangled, where they're all at the pub and they all go, "There's more to us than just a life of villainy." What's it? I've got a dream. That's their song, isn't it? They've got a dream, and this person collects tiny little unicorns. Anyway, I'm rambling. Cold steel. Imagine strong fist and cold steel together. Butcher, the fearless, candlestick maker, the hunter. Oh. I think this would be the same as the fighter, but clearly not. This must be their version of a ranger. What is not needed to become a skilled hunter? Well, what is not needed to be... hang on, it's all... okay. Why have they put... I guess was the last one in... Yeah, so the last one was in italics as well, so that's really off-putting. What is not needed to become a skilled hunter? There you go, got the emphasis. Agility, stealth, accuracy of a bow, cunning with the snares, knowledge of the hunting ground and prey. Sure, you can do without nice manners and fancy talk, but who cares about such nonsense? Badass look, though. I mean, that's not how you hold a bow, but no, well. Not actually accurate. That's not how you shoot. You're gonna hurt yourself with that. Snaring hares, knifing boars, and silently stalking deer in the depths of the forest with arrows on their bowstring. Hunters live for the hunt and the catch, killing one's prey in a respectful manner and making use of all its parts. For food, clothes, tools, and weapons, it is a sacred calling for all true hunters. Their home and destiny are in the wilds, the magnificent, untamed and cruel. That is where they find peace of mind and gather their strength. That is where their ruthless gods dwell. Oh, very Symbaroum. Many hunters are therefore quite solitary and sometimes find it difficult to behave properly amongst people. I feel that so. Call me Shadowbolt. Call me the Weathered. You just constantly don't look. You constantly look under the weather. Night. Look at that image. Shit. So good. Just like I said before, it feels very much like one of those book plates. I don't know if that's what they're called. Like a plate in a fairy tale book. You'd put it on one side and then the other bit would be like, once upon a time there was a knight and they were awful. First, you must believe in something. Then you must be prepared to fight and die for this something. Finally, you need to study, train, and practice until you reach the heights of a worthy champion. After that, you're ready to serve and obey. Gloria L. Sunstreak. I wonder if you meet him later. How many candles, sir? Oh, good question. Good question. We'll find out. I think... I don't know. Are we in the darkness yet? Oh no, you're talking about. Oh, you're talking. I understand. I understand now. But it's Friday Brain. Friday Brain on the. Knights are warriors who have sworn fealty to a higher power, such as an order of knights, a liege lord, oh, my liege, or a god. This oath of fealty lies at the heart of their worldview and existence. It also includes rules and principles for the knight to obey in thought and deed. Ah, your classic paladin. Okay. Demands for chivalry and a noble mind are often combined with an placable, or hatred of something deemed contrary to the spirit of the oath. Many knights are part of an order, but they are also lone knights that have devoted their lives to defending something specific, perhaps a person or a place, that gives their lives a higher purpose. The noble, the dragon heart, the griffin claw. That sounds a little bit too much like a certain house in a terrible wizard school. Or maybe in like a knockoff. Oh, you go to Pigfarts. Oh, what house are you in? I'm in Gryffindor. Oh god. Ah, a mage. That's when you're looking at these sort of images, who do you want to be? Who's you when you're older? I think we're all gonna look like a mage. Even me. I'll have the great beard for it. Forget it. Just forget it. If you must ask what it takes to master the secrets of magic, you don't have it. Or you can possibly learn to chat with animals or peep on faraway things, but real magic, the magic of the elements, never. And that man is called Cyril Firemane. Classic Cyril. Mages have learnt to control ancient forces that permeate nature and the primordial structures of the world. It is not a uniform profession. They don't have a union, but includes a motley crew of individualists and headstrong eccentrics. Looks very much like Merlin from Sword in the Stone, doesn't it? Yeah. There are several schools of magic with different views on what magic is and how it works. Oh, like every bloody improv school I've ever bloody been to. Or any other fantasy book. I don't know why I just said improv straight away. In the core game, you can choose between animalism, elementalism, and mentalism. Or animalists, sorry. Oh no, animalism. Animism? Oh, words. Animisms, animisids. The first one believes in everything in the world has a spiritual presence and sees magic as a power lent by nature's spirits. Elementalists describe magic in terms of the four elements that constitute the essence of all things. Excuse me. And mentalists? Is that how we say it? Mentalists? Mentalists say that magic comes from within, and that it can manifest itself through self-control and discipline. Okay, so there's three sort of different sort of subclasses then of. So here you go. Your heroic ability. You don't get a starting heroic ability like one of the other classes. Get your magic instead. You can use magic. You must select your school. So those three I sort of talked about. One of them which I completely pronounced wrong, which then becomes your trained skill. As a newly created mage, you can choose three rank 1 spells and 3 magic tricks. I wouldn't call them magic tricks. That might be doing a disservice. You could choose spells from your school or the general magic category. Oh, it's like doing general studies at the magic school. What A levels did you do? Oh, I did general magic. I only got a B in it. You can get a grimoire where all your spells are listed. For more, see chapter 5. Alright, we'll see if we get there. The art style seems to change a little from class to class. Yes, well, I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but I appreciate you weren't here. So all the art is, or most of the art is done by Johan Egerkrans, who is famous in quotation marks. His best known work is Vaesen, which is like it's an RPG, but it originally was like a Nordic folktale book, which I've got. Typically, I do have the book, but it's all the way over there, and I can't bother getting up and getting it to show you. And then they created Vaesen, the RPG, which uses all of his stuff. And then with the artwork for this, he is the lead art, but then they've got 2 other people. So page 21, just so I remember. Go back to the So this was the thing I was saying at the beginning as well, Dan, which is really nice. So for the writers, they've actually credited where they've written stuff, which is very rare that they do this in tabletop RPG. Usually it's just a list of stuff. But yeah, you got two other people, Anton and Nicholas, that did the additional arts, and they've also worked on with Christian and Dan on the graphic design as well. Cool. So there you go. Cool. Anyway, enough rambling. Back to spoilers. As I jumped too far ahead. Back to the mage. Ooh. Cool. What else can I say about words? Not my strong point. So yeah, mage. Oh, hang on. Well, we've got to look at the nicknames. Shadow. Staff limper. Oh, okay. I did think he said staff imper, and I was like, what's that supposed to be? They call me Crookback. I don't think these are as good. I'd come up with my own nickname, I think, for if I was a mage. All right, but Mariner. Now look at the colours on her. I mean, it's not a cape, but it's like basically her coat. You don't become a sailor; you are born one. If you feel the bedrock sway where you walk, you know you belong out on the waves. Is there anything sadder than seeing a born mariner wobble around on solid ground? Oh, she's great. What's she called? Frigga Sea Wife. Absolutely. I happily take her as my sea wife. Look at her. She's incredible. Oh, either I want to marry her or be her. One of the two, right? Foaming waves and sea and ships sailing fearlessly through the dark waters are the domain of calling out of the mariner. Are the domain and the calling of the mariner, sorry. Some seafarers are forever sworn to the high seas, others stuck to the rivers and lakes, but all of them have one thing in common: symbiotic relationship with the element of water, often a specific lake, river, or bay. This relationship is always complicated, based on love, respect, and mortal dread in equal measures. Ooh, I love that. Otherwise, the seafaring profession is wide and varied, covering everything from coastal pirates to privateers to surly ferrymen to whalers, explorers, and authoritative captains of maritime trade expeditions. Well, naturally, if we're doing a mallard, you have to be a mallard mariner. They just seem to go together, right? Looking at the nicknames as well. Stormfell, Foamborn, Salt Splash. Oh, love that. All right, Merchant. What does this person say? The images. Got some really cool poses. Again, fabulous Tash. Say so. Yes, many believe that tradecraft is about selling this and that, but the factual fundament is spelt the principle of growth. Turning what you have into more. If you have understood this, not much else is needed to succeed as a merchant. Oh, thanks, Bulldill. Bulldill Hale. You know what? I've always wanted a jacket with those sort of puffy Tudor sleeves, I think they are. But I know that I wouldn't be able to get them off in a rush. I think they're like, maybe I'm just thinking them as like armbands for when you go swimming. Fashionable armbands for when you go swimming. Salt and vinegar splash. That great name for your character, Dan. I appreciate it. Buying cheap and selling dear is the golden rule of merchants. No commodity is too commonplace, no deal too small or insignificant. Inside every piece of copper is a future gold coin. Inside every creature, living or dead, is a customer with needs and dreams of luxury. What a great introduction. The only thing more important than the customer's wishes is the sweet clatter of gold and silver pouring into the coffers. Some merchants run permanent shops in town, villages, or other settlements. Others travel with trade caravans and adventuring companies in constant search for exotic luxury goods, new customers, and marketable artifacts. All right, I don't know. I thought the mariner was good. I'm kind of sold on this, having like a mallard merchant. I mean, it works, right? MM. MM for both of them. Oh, look at that nickname, though. The Lisping and Truthful. But again, if it's like, ideally, you want to be someone like, yes, Gold Tooth or Silver Grin. But in reality, you are Lard Belly. What a great name. Oh, you think they must have been like, was there like what was it? There's an old Mitchell and Webb sketch where they're trying to come up with the name for the new mobile phones and stuff, and they get like a huge big dart and they're throwing it at the dartboard, and they go, it's now going to be called the Nokia 962 underscore boom. So I wondered if they've done that with nicknames themselves. Yes, downstairs. Instead of Walter White, you get Mallard Mite. Done. Copyright that now. Oh, look at that Scrooge McDuck character. Amazing. Scholar. You can talk about education, genius, and matter-of-factness all you want, but the scholar is never better than their sources. If you want to become learned, it is not enough to sit and brood in some dusty tower room. You have to go out into the world, where the sources nest. Quasimo Deerfeather. Although from a distance it does look like Deathfeather. Yeah, it is Deerfeather. What? That was a low blow for that joke, so I apologise. Scholarly individuals gather knowledge about nature and the shrouded history of the world. They seek truth in order to understand the unseen forces and deep structures that hold the universe together as a single entity. Some are specialists with specific areas of expertise, such as monsters, plants, or dead languages. Others pride themselves in avoiding limitations and dedicating themselves to an all-encompassing, non-discriminatory pursuit of knowledge, where mating calls of dragons, foaming of beer, and the inner workings of minerals are all covered by the same academic system. God, this person's never worked at higher education. We'd like to. That's the ideal, but my God, getting into that system is dreadful. Although that could be really fun, actually. That you are like a wandering academic because no institution will have you just because of the admin to get into an institution. You're not allowed to go out. Scholars are often well versed in myths, legends, and folklore, and have often learned to decipher ancient languages and forgotten scripts. Looking at those nicknames again. Oh, the Old Knowing, the Plump and Learned, or you could be Dustlung. Help me. The books. They're killing me slowly. Alright, moving on to the thief. I'd say that there are many kinds of thieves. Burglars, pickpockets, charlatans, highwaymen, pirates, and so on. The only thing we have in common is probably a particular view of ownership. I mean, this yours and mine thing. Oh, great. Look at that amazing halfling image. Oh, really cool. Thieves see themselves as professional experts specialised in the acquisition of other people's property. It is a proud and surprisingly principled profession. Man, I can't believe I said that all in one go. That's almost like a tongue twister. They like to refer, as they already stumbled over the next sentence, they like to refer to solemn principles of honour and honesty amongst thieves, something that is often hard to take seriously for theft victims and other outsiders. Many thieves organise themselves into guilds. Others take pride in working independently and walk alone through the night and shadows. The night and shadows. Some are discreet specialists whose only method is guile, but the thief profession also includes brutal brigands who do not hesitate to use weapons to achieve their end. See, their heroic ability is backstabbing. Alright, mate. Oh, guess what? It's me, Brutus. It too, eh? Night Stabber. Yeah, so I think if you've got a name like a Night Stabber, a nickname like Night Stabber, you've got a certain reputation, right? I guess that's the whole point of having a nickname. Double tongue as well. And that's it for the professions. That's all 10 of them. What have we got? Choose your age. Classic in adventurers, you're not all going to be 18. Many adventurers leave their village at a young age, but some older individuals are forced out to hunt for treasure amongst the ruins. Age is divided into 3 categories, everyone. Young, adult, and old. You choose your age freely or let the dice decide. Older age means you start the game with lower attributes but higher skill ratings. See the table below. Modifications to the attributes below do not stack. Your age and years depends on your kin, has no medical, well, mechanical significance. So, interesting. Having a look at that table, the effects of age. Well, this should come with a disclaimer. So young, you get, yeah, so you can see there, you get more skills as you get older. So yeah, the 6 trained skills must be taken from your profession. So that's the previous thing we were looking at. Those were professions, not or classes. The rest may be chosen freely, and an attributes maximum of 18. Well, that presumably it's like the number 18 for each one, perhaps. And then yeah, your strength, agility, and constitution -2. Oh, you're physically not as good when you're older. Ooh. Name. Once you've chosen your kin profession, it is time to name your character. We've done that book. What? Honestly. But nicknames, one that says something about your appearance, personality, or your personal history. Excuse me. Oh, it's a war. Attributes. Your adventurer has 6 base attributes indicating your base physical and mental capacities on a scale from 3 to 18. The higher the score, the better. And then starting scores. Oh, is there not like a normal generation one? Standard array or something. So, false 66. I'm already going higher. 46. Remove the worst die, which gives you a score between 3 and 18. Assign this score to an attribute of your choice. Hit 5 more times, and then you get a score for each. You must assign each score as you roll them, but once you are done, you may swap 2 scores. Okay. Then adjust your attributes based on your age. Note that you can never have any more than 18 in an attribute, regardless of your age. Once assigned, your attributes will rarely change during the game. Here we go. So there are many other ways to determine your attributes, such as rolling for all of them, then distributing the results after, adding all the rolls into one big pool, and distributing the points freely. Oh wow, that could be incredible. That you get like, I don't know, you roll 75 points, and then divvy them up as you go. That would be quite an interesting one actually. That's like a point buy that you get in D&D, or sort of. So these 6 attributes we've got strength, constitution, agility, intelligence, willpower, and charisma. Willpower is the one, because strength, constitution we get, agility is just another word for dexterity, intelligence we get. Willpower is self-discipline and focus. I would always put under intelligence, perhaps, but maybe that's just me. And then charisma is a force of personality and empathy. I mean, I am a force of empathy for sure. Movements. So we've got movements depending on your kin, and then you got. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. So you get your kin, and then it's modified by your agility afterwards. So if you've got really bad agility, it's only going to be a -4. Can you imagine? Oh god, if you're a mallard, you're like, wait for me, guys. And then damage bonus. Damage bonus increases the damage inflicted by your attacks. You have 2 separate damage bonuses, one for strength and one for agility. So yeah, strength for dexterity, etc. Under 12, you don't get anything extra, but above 12, you get either a D4 or a D6. So that's pretty good at that point. Hit points, what's that determined by? It's equal to your con, and it can be increased by your heroic ability robust. If you have a really rubbish con, say 5, that's 5 hit points. That's pretty. Yeah, I guess you have to just. I assume you get AC at some point or something, depending on what you're wearing. And will points is equal to your will. Will? Yeah, willpower. But it can also be increased by the heroic ability focus. Right. Going on to skills. So those are attributes. So those are the main sort of skills you get. And then skills, we're going to see they're going to be like actual, like specialized stuff, right? I mean, obviously that's what skills usually are, aren't they? They're important as they determine how effectively you can perform certain actions in the game. Classic. You have 30 core skills in the game. Oh god, 30 of them? Oh gosh, okay. And they're all described in detail in the next chapter. Woo. Your skills are measured by skill level on a scale of 1 to 18. The higher, the better. Every skill is connected to an attribute, which determines the base chance in the skill. This indicates that the character is indicated on the character sheet and in chapter 3. I wonder if there's a character sheet that as well. The space chance is a free skill level that you get automatically. See the table on your right. Okay, so that's good. So you're not gonna not have any dice to roll essentially. Even if you probably definitely always have 3. In at least 3 to start with somewhere. It might be reduced by whatever, but you'll always have a base chance of, I assume it's going to be like a, because it's a D20 system. I don't know. Maybe it's, we'll find out. I'm making assumptions, I don't know what it is. In addition to these base chances, you start out with a number of train skills, 8, 10, 12, depending on your age. At the start of the game, your level in train skills is equal to twice the base chance. 6 of your train skills must be selected from those. Rest 2, 4, or 6, depending on your age, are chosen freely. Yeah, okay. Proficiencies, essentially. Beyond the core skills are secondary skills, such as skills of magic. In this base game, you don't get a base chance in the secondary skills, but in future expansions and supplements, this may modify this. I have no idea what that sentence was. It's something that's not in this particular game. Fine. I'll ignore it. Yes, we've talked about magic before. Heroic abilities. Well, we don't need to look at it in too much detail, I don't think. But yeah, these are the special abilities that give you a specific advantage or benefits in the game. So these are the feats that we were talking about earlier, which you get with your profession. You start it with 1 heroic ability determined by your profession. You gain more during play. Note that some of them require a minimum skill level. Okay, so you need to remember that when you're picking one up. What does it say here? Weakness. Your character is a capable individual risking their life and limb for honour, gold, or adventure. Yet, every adventurer has a weakness. An Achilles heel that can get you into trouble. You can choose to roll or choose from the table below. Your weakness adds depth and personality to your character and also used by the GM to create challenges for them. Roleplay according to your weakness to give you an extra advancement mark at the end of the session. Oh, look at this. Oh, well, first of all, it's a D20. Nice. So we got lots of it. What have we got? Foolhardy, Monster Slayer. All monsters are evil and must be slain. Tolerant? Nightkin, such as orcs and goblins, are evil, need to be fought. No, not a fan of that one. That could be bad. I mean, they're all kind of bad, I guess, because the whole point is a weakness is a flaw, right? Like, reckless, child of the wild. I never sleep indoors. That's a fun one. I like that. Cynic. I always think the worst will turn out. The things will turn out for the worst. You get the Eeyore mechanic there. Yeah, not a fan of the intolerant one though. That's a bit. That could be. If it was intolerant to other things that you could choose, perhaps. But even then, I just feel that's a slippery slope myself. If you play a mage, you don't get any heroic ability at the start of the game. Your magic will make up for that disadvantage. You can learn new heroic abilities during play, just like other professions. Okay, cool. So you're not sort of locked out of it per se. So that's good. If you feel that a heroic ability doesn't really match the character you want to create, you may allow to choose a different start. Cool. Yeah. You need the right gear. Yeah, we'll write that down. But is it one of those games where you have to like, is it with an encumbrance and stuff? Let's see. Write down all the items you're carrying on your character sheet. Any items at hand, as well as the armor, helmet, and shield you're wearing, are listed in the respective boxes, while other items are recorded in the inventory. Write down 1 item per row. If it's not listed on your sheet, then you do not have it with you. Ugh. Okay. But no encumbrance stuff, because we have that in the Alien game, and I absolutely cannot abide it. There's like when you have heavy weapons and it takes up 2 slots. I'm like, okay, but all my normal items take up 2 slots because my handwriting's rubbish. I think it should be obvious what you can and cannot take. Like, just have it like you take 5 things. It doesn't matter how heavy they are. I hate it because it's administration. Like, I don't know about you. Like, when I take my backpack to work, some days it's heavier than others, and some days it's not. But then I usually take another backpack, or take another bag with me. I don't know. I think going to work is not necessarily the adventure the Dragonbane had in mind. Your profession determines what gear you have. Yeah. In addition to your other equipment, you can have a memento, an item of great sentimental value that you always carry with you. Choose from something suitable or roll on the table below. Oh, always roll d20 roll. It's a tiny item with no practical use. Oh. But once per gaming session, you can use your memento to recover an additional condition during your stress thing. Ah, yes, we've done that in Alien as well. You can use your signature item to reduce your stress by 1. Yeah. Your trusty old shoes. a strangely shaped stone. Yep. Always carry one of those. Your mother or father's raggedy old hat. Oh. I love this. A copper coin from a treasure sought by your mother or father. Oh, that feels very much like the Black Pearl. What's it? Pirates of the Caribbean, the Black Pearl or something. What's that what it's called? Oh, of course. I thought we got away from encumbrance. It turns out I was completely wrong. You carry a number of items equal to half your strength rounded up in your inventory without difficulty. Only items written down in your inventory count towards your encumbrance. You can have up to 3 weapons at hand. Which means they're worn on your belt or otherwise readily available. Yada yada. Helmet and armor. They're recorded in their respective sections and don't count towards your encumbrance. Food, up to 4 rations count as 1 item. Oh, my face is melting off, sorry. I cannot abide admin like this. I want to go on adventure, so sod that. I ain't reading any more of that. Heavy items, yep, these count for more slots. Tiny items, over encumbered. You can temporarily carry more than your normal encumbrance limit. You must make a strength call whenever you want to move in a round of combat or walk for a shift or travel. If your roll fails, you must drop whatever you're carrying or stay where you are. If you have a horse or other riding animal, or a beast of burden, the animal can carry your gear for you. You can find the gear list on page 8. And then appearance. You can choose yourself. Oh, there's rolls in the next table. Okay, let's have a look. What's appearance-wise? Strange headgear. An extra bit of weight around the middle. Well, okay. Okay. I mean, I guess that's a nice way of putting it, but you gotta be a little bit careful. Balding, depending on your kin. Could you imagine a mallard that like doffed its helm and it's just got a tiny little bald spot? That said, glorious hairstyle. I can now imagine a mallard with like a Farrah Fawcett type hissing voice. Oh, very cool. Alright, moving on to experience. So life as an adventurer brings on many challenges, and if you survive, you're sure to change, and maybe even learn a thing or two along the way. When you have rolled a dragon or demon, which we're getting onto in the next bit, thankfully we can get to the Dan. We are adventurers, not dang accountants. So true. Although, if you've seen that, was it Monty Python? Is it Meaning of Life, or is it the Knights of the Round Table one? Camelot one. There's that little sketch they do at the beginning where it's the accountants, and then they go, "We don't want to be accountants anymore," and then they're on a ship, and they just go, and they're talking about charting the accountancy. There you go. That's a random image I had in my head of Monty Python there. So when you rolled a dragon or demon, which is the main mechanic, which we'll go on to in a second, when using a skill, tick the check box next to that skill. At the end of a session, you'll be asked the following questions, and then for each that you say yes to and justify the answer, you may place another tick next to the unmarked skill of your choice. Did you participate in the game session? Yes. Did you explore a new location? Did you defeat one or more dangerous adversaries? Did you overcome an obstacle without using force? Ooh, that's a good question to ask. Oh, you can have a proper Undertale moment. I love it. Did you give in to your weakness, which is your optional rule? Ooh, I love that. After placing your marks, roll a d20 for each of them. If the result exceeds your current skill level, increase it by 1 to a maximum of 18. Once you have made your advancement rolls, erase the marks and start over. So, okay, I guess you tick, so you tick one skill, you don't multiply tick a skill. Oh, that feels very much like how you level up in Call of Cthulhu. You have a similar thing where you have to roll, you depending on the skills you use and if you successfully use them, you tick at them, and then you have to roll over it. But obviously, the better you are at a skill, the harder it is to level up, because it's easier to be from bad to worse and to be from bad to good than from being good to great. From bad to worse. Go the opposite way. Teacher. A shift of intense training with a teacher whose skill level is 15 or higher and exceeds your own gives you an additional advancement roll to improve upon the skill in question. Make the roll immediately without waiting for the session to end. However, a teacher can only raise a skill by 1 level, and after that you must improve the skill through experience before you can get more help from a teacher. Teachers, especially those with high skill levels, are usually very expensive. Yep. Who's paying this money to wizard school? Get on a scholarship, for goodness sake. A school of magic can improve like any other skill. However, learning new spells and new skills of magic requires special training. For more information, see the leaflet at the back for Fig Farts, or Chapter 5. You can earn new heroic abilities, so as feats, during 2 ways. Increase the skill to 80. You immediately gain a new heroic ability. Whoa. After a grand heroic deed, the GM or the adventurer can award you with a heroic ability. This should be a rare event, never more than once per standard standard length adventure. And you must meet the score. Cool. Oh, keep jumping ahead. I do want to see that next. I do want to see the image. I do. I was like, oh, I just want to read this last bit. Overcome weakness during a session. If you in the session acted in a way that goes against your weakness. Wait. During a session acted in a way that clearly goes against your weakness, you get 2 advancement marks instead of 1 when giving into it. Oh, you now also overcome your weakness and must remove it. You must then play a full session without a weakness. After that, you may choose a new weakness, probably based on one that has occurred. Okay, that's quite good. So you either play to the roleplay thing or go against it as a sort of a narrative thing, but you can't keep doing that. You can't constantly, unless you're taking lots of admin notes or just notes in general. That could be quite good, actually. I quite like that. All right, now we get to look at the place. Oh, it's a dragon. It's a dragon. Look at that. That's incredible. Looks very much like Hobbit-wise, doesn't it? I think they know. I think they know there. Here we go. Only taken us an hour and a half, but here we are. The dice mechanic. There are 30 core skills in game in total, not including secondary skills like schools of magic. When using a skill, first describe what your player character is trying to achieve. Then roll a d20. A result that is lower to or equal to your skill level means your action succeeds. Aha! So if it is, a 15 or whatever it is, like we'll go into a skill in a second. 15 or very good. So that's it. That's quite good. You don't have to do much about anything else. In combat, your skill rolls often have special effects. Outside of combat, the GM or adventurer you're playing determines the effects of the roll. Oh, of course. I know what I said at the beginning. I said, a 20 is a dragon and a 1 is a demon, thinking that it's a high thing, but not. It's reversed, right? So the lower you want lower results. So rolling a 1, says here, means you're particularly successful. That's called rolling a dragon. In combat, a dragon roll has specific effects, increasing the damage of an attack, for example. Outside of combat, the GM decides the effect. Some suggestions include you impress everyone around you. You achieve more than you intended. The action is performed faster. A failure. Rolling above your skill level means your action fails. For some reason, you do not achieve your goal. Feel free to describe what happens together with the GM. I always like that. I always like that collaboration with the GM. I always have ideas of what happens when my thing goes wrong, but sometimes it goes against what the GM says. Yep, so even when you fail, there must be a way forward. Perhaps at the cost of time, risk, or gold, but there's still a way. Absolutely. There's no point, like, I can't open this door, it's locked. I'm not spending the rest of the session just bashing my head against the door. Rolling a 20 on a d20 is called rolling a demon. And that means the roll fails regardless of your skill level or other circumstances. Rolling a demon means that the roll cannot be pushed. Also, it doesn't push rolls in this game. Well, it's on the next page, isn't it? It's going to tell us now. Demon rolls can also have additional effects in combat during spellcasting. Outside of combat, the GM can let demon rolls have effects such as you damage yourself, someone else, or an item. You make a fool of yourself in front of everyone around you. You make a lot of noise. Bah! I just do that anyway. I just make lots of noise anyway. When no skill seems relevant to the situation, the GM can instruct you to roll against the base attribute instead. Okay, so that's what it was saying before. Okay, great. So there's always a number that you have to roll equal to or under. That's pretty good. No worries, Dan. Oh, I'd like some ice cream, please. if you're going to the shops, I'd get some ice cream. One chance. As a rule, you only have one chance to succeed with any action. Once you have rolled the dice, you may not roll again to achieve the same goal. You need to try something different or wait till the circumstances have changed in a substantial way or let another player try. This rule does not apply in combat. Again, that totally makes sense. Oh, is it not going to do the push roll thing? Or maybe... what page are we on? Oh, it's going to be on the next page. Push roll. There you go, pushing your rolls there. Right, boons and banes. Normally, the GM does not assess how difficult an action is. You only roll a dice in challenging situations. Well, that's the other thing as well, is that it's a bit like the game last night, which was... No, it was the game 2 nights ago, the One Ring, is that I don't set what the difficulty is. It's about you, your player, rolling under your skill. So everyone could be rolling the same skill, like stealth or something. But everyone has their own levels of success and their own thing, which I prefer that. And then like a objective here is you need to get a 15 to pass. Cool. But sometimes the GM wants to underscore external factors or either help or hinder an action. You may then get a boon or a bane. In both cases, you roll 2d20, but only one result will count. If you have a boon, only the lowest result applies. If you have a bane, the highest result applies. So yeah, advantage, disadvantage. There are also cases where the rule says you get a boon or a bane, for example, when attacking a prone enemy. Shooting at long range. Ooh. It's going to say the usual thing of like multiple banes and boons will cancel each other out. Fair enough. Yep, that's what it just says. Help from others. Everyone likes helping others, don't they? Another player character or an NPC can help you succeed at a dice roll. This must be declared before you roll any dice. It must also make sense, and they must be physically present or have the capacity to support your action. The GM has the final say. When someone helps you with a roll, you get a boon. In combat, this helping it counts as an action, so you lose your own action in that round. NPCs can help each other just as player characters can, but only one character can help a roll, so not all this sort of dogpiling in or not. I guess it's because it's a D20 roll, right? So it's advantage, disadvantage. Now, here we go. This optional rule of the push roll. If you fail a skill or attribute roll, you can choose to push the roll, which means that you make it another attempt. This new result applies whatever it is. If you have boons and banes, you must re-roll all the dice. But you can never push a demon's roll, so you can never push a natural 20. Love that. Whenever you push a roll, immediately after the reroll, you suffer a condition. Okay. These means you get a bane on all rolls for skills based on a certain attribute and rolls against the attribute in question. Each attribute is linked to a certain condition. Oh, that's quite cool. Thus, there are 6 different conditions. For strength, you have exhausted. For constitution, you have sickly. For agility, you have dazed. For intelligence, you have angry. You have scared. For willpower and disheartened. Charisma. You decide which condition you get from pushing a roll, with 2 important restrictions. You cannot choose a condition you already have. You must be able to explain how the condition results from the action you are trying to perform. The GM has the right to reject clearly unreasonable explanations. That is really cool. I really like that. That involves the character making that choice and like how that is afflicted on their character the player can then pick that and then it reflects on their character. I really like that. That working with the GM to get the story and like it just feels really collaborative. But I love collaborative storytelling. Once you have all 6 conditions, you may no longer push your rolls. I'm exhausted, sickly, dazed, angry, scared, and disheartened. That's just a normal Friday for Fiona. In addition to their effects, conditions also provide inspiration for role-playing. Mark conditions on your character sheet. Right. Healing conditions. You can recover the condition by resting. More on resting and healing, see page 52. Okay. Opposed roles. So sometimes you must beat your enemy in an opposed role situation to succeed with an action. This means you and your adversary roll dice. Oh no, that means I've got to roll dice. Opposed roles are used sparingly in the game. Hooray! And only when someone is actively opposing you. Oh, boo. In combat, it only counts as an action for the active party. If your roll fails, your action fails as well, regardless of your opponent's roll. If your roll succeeds whilst your opponent fails, your action succeeds. If you both succeed with your rolls, your action succeeds if the result is the result of your low is lower than or equal to your opponent's result. The opponent's result is lower than yours and you fail. So again, that is very Call of Cthulhu in a way. It is by you've got to get equal to or under, and then it's almost like degrees of success on that as well. Opposed rolls can be pushed, but only if you're the active party. This can be done even after your opponent's roll. Oh, that's really cool. I mean, yes, I was just like, that's really cool. I have seen that in Alien. But I like that. I think I do like pushed rolls are really good. It's also in Blade Runner, now that I think about it. I remember when we recorded Blade Runner, every so often I was like, oh, I failed the roll. You just hear me in the background of the film going, push the roll! Do it! Take the strain! Opened opposed rolls. So the GM can use opposed rolls in situations where there's no active party, i.e. rolling strength against strength to decide an outcome of an arm wrestling match. This is called an open opposed roll. Open opposed rolls are re-rolled if both parties failed, or if both succeed and get the same result. Both parties can push them. Okay. I mean, I guess it's just an easier way of doing it, but I feel like the first bit is better. I don't know. I don't know if I would actually use that or not. Excuse me. Alright, so here are the 30 core skills. God. Okay. Acrobatics, awareness, bartering, and beast law. Let's see if there's anything else of interest on this stage. Non-player... No. I'm gonna whip through these, to be honest with you, because I've said this. You need double figures for skills. That's awful. I just can't. Acrobatics, awareness, bartering, beast law, bluffing, bushcraft, crafting, evade, healing, fishing, hunting and fishing, languages, myth and legends, performance, persuasion, riding, seamanship. I think Misty Veil doesn't have a C in it. Sleight of hand, sneaking, spot hidden. Oh, classic Call of Cthulhu there. That's your perception. Swimming, weapon skills. Oh, I think that's just a generic weapon skills. I don't think that's an actual thing. Bows, axes, bows, brawling, crossbows, hammers, knives, slings, spears, staves, swords. Okay. It's fine. Those are the 30 skills. Is that 30 skills? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yeah. So the weapon skills individually, okay, that can all go done under one skill. Oh, it's so cross-making. They could all be the same. You could either have it as a strength or agility. Look, that's what they use. That's what they depend on. Oh, all we do for the sake of customization, huh? Okay, heroic abilities. Yes, so we talked about this before when we were looking at the professions. What we've got assassin, backstabbing, battle cry. Look at that. Who's that person? Why can't we play them? Is that a wolfkin? They're very cool looking. Berserker, cat-like, companion, contortionist, defensive. Whoop. Deflect arrow. Aha! That's always quite a cool thing, isn't it? Disguise. Double slash. Dragon Slayer, dual wield, eagle eye, fast footwork, fast healer, fearless, focused, guardian, insight, intuition, iron fist. Like strong fist, but it's made of iron. Iron grip. Oh, what's the difference between iron fist and iron grip? practically the same. Lightning fast, lone wolf, magic talent, massive blow, master blacksmith, master carpenter, master chief, master chief, master chief, master chef, master spellcaster, master tanner, monster hunter, musician, pathfinder, quartermaster, robust, sea legs, shield block, throwing arm, treasure hunter, twin shot, veteran, weasel. Oh, again, I like for this one the master occupation. Just say master and then choose an occupation. Like it's all the same. It makes me so cross. I guess I don't know. It's the sake of customization to making the game more complicated. So that's like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 44 feats. 44 heroic abilities. Just halve it. Yeah, I don't need those pages. Get rid of them. We don't need them. Absolutely don't need them. Okay, we're coming on to my favourite chapter. What an image, though. That's such a cool image. Such a cool place. But yes, my favourite of all things, combat and damage. I shouldn't. I know I'm being silly about it, but God, I absolutely cannot stand combat, and I can predict it's going to be initiatives just because we've already got the weapons proficiencies and there's 10 different proficiencies. Okay. Let's see if we can barrel through this. Okay, let's see. Life as an adventurer is hard and often violent. In Dragonbane, you could run into beasts, malicious raiders, and demonic monsters. Combat could be rough for your player characters and sometimes even lethal. Before you enter combat, you should always ask yourself, is it worth it? I always ask myself about combat in RPGs. Is it worth it? Do I care? Combat is played in rounds, roughly about 10 seconds each. Drawing the initiative. It is a card system, very classic of Free League. I'm guessing it's going to be numbers 1 to 10. Draws a card at random at the beginning of each round. Ooh, so do we change the order every round? Yes. Round is over and you guys by drawing initiative. Interesting. So every round it's different. That is very much like Deadlands. Excuse me. Or Savage World, really. That's what the ultimate system. But in other systems like Blade Runner, I think does it, but definitely Alien keep the same initiative. To make things simple, draw 1 initiative card for groups of NPCs. Yeah, always do that. Surprise! If you perform an attack, the GM's theme is surprising to the enemy. You can choose any initiative card you want in the first round of combat. Oh, do we show the card called number 1 access? So everyone can see your. Oh, that's quite cool. So everyone can see it. Like 1, 2, 3. Everyone sees it. So you could, if you're surprising, people can choose. If several characters participate in the surprise attack, you may all choose a card. The other combatants draw initiative from the cards that remain. Oh, I quite like that. That's quite cool. I think again, from what I remember in Alien, it's more you just attack. They just don't get their turn at all. But I like that you move around the initiative cards because then obviously it goes away after that first round. You redraw the initiative, so that's cool. On your turn in the round, you can choose to wait. This means you swap initiative cards and therefore places in the initiative order with another creature whose turn comes after yours. If you swap with other player characters as well as NPCs, and they cannot refuse to trade. Wait. Can the players not refuse a trade? I'm sure they can. However, you cannot swap initiative cards with someone who's already had their turn or who themselves have chosen to wait earlier in the round. Monsters have often multiple turns in a single round. Yep, that's true of Alien. And therefore draw multiple initiative cards. In that case, you can decide which card you want as long as it comes after your current turn in the initiative order. Monsters themselves never choose to wait. No, they're on it. They're just like, sod this, let's go. Actions and movements. You can move and perform one action. One action. You simply explain how you want to move and what action you want to perform. If necessary, you can also roll dice to see whether you succeed. You can decide to move before your act or vice versa. You can even use part of your movement to perform your action and then finish your movement. Actions. Oh, look at that. There's a big table here that you probably give to the players. They can be many things, and the list below summarizes the common ones. These actions are later in the chapter. Okay, so again, in other games, you have like a fast action and a slow action in Free League games, and sometimes I do find that's a little bit hard to sort of break down. And like obviously, slow actions are usually an attack one, right? But then the fast actions are supposed to be like a bonus action. In Alien, I always go back to Alien because it's the one I know very well. You can have 2 fast actions instead of sort of switching that slow one out. But then also you would use one of those actions to block. It gets to a point where it's a little bit heady, but again, people like it. I don't know what to say about it really. Why? Oh. Sorry. Work email. Do not look at those. Dash. So you got dash, melee action, ranged attack, parry, dodge, pick up item, equipped, unequipped, armor helmet. Are you doing that in fighting? I don't know. First aid, rally, break down door. I guess that's a common thing that you would do. Pick a lock, use item, activate ability, cast spell, helping, round rest. Oh, you can rest in a round? Ooh. You rest and recover D6 willpower points. This can only be done once per shift. Yeah, you just go. You catch your breath, essentially. Free actions. Minor actions such as drawing a weapon, keeping at hand, dropping to the ground, shouting a few words are all free actions. See the sidebar on the next page for a complete list. Free actions do not count as your action in the round, but you can perform one type of each action per round and only on your turn. You can only perform one of each type per round. Right. A free action and a full action. For example, you can drop down or get up, but not both. You get dropped down, and then you get up again, but not in the same round. Reactions. Some actions are not performed on your turn, but are on the opponent's. These are called reactions and include things like parrying or dodging actions. This uses up your own turn in the round, which means that you cannot perform a reaction if you have already had your turn and performed it as an action. Flip your initiative card at performing a reaction. Oh, cool. So yes, so if you've got a physical card, again, going back to the Alien example, on it says like fast and slow. So you would use that to just indicate which type of action you've had. In this one, that's really cool. They just go, oh, and now I use my reaction. That's really cool. I much prefer that than moving the cards all around, because certainly when you're not using the cards for initiative, certainly in the Alien game, like even if you're using a normal set of cards, it's really difficult to work out what action you've used and stuff. So I quite like that. It's just a simple turn it over. It's done. There you go. Free actions examples of draw weapon, change position, drop item, shout. Shout. Let it all out. Movements. Leaping. Haha. Enemies. You can't move past a standing enemy. That will stop. Sneak attack. Oh, hey, oh, sorry, I'm moving ahead of myself. So, a free attack. If you're standing within 2 meters of an enemy and then move away from the enemy, you must make an evade roll. Yes, because they're going to get attackable. Fine. Sneak attack. The key to winning a conflict is often to attack when the enemy least suspects it, expects it, but also suspects it as well. When you sneak on somebody undetected and perform an attack, it's called a sneak attack. First, you make a sneaking roll. Moving close enough to attack in melee combat gives you a bane, so disadvantage you roll it. If you succeed, your attack counts as surprising, which means you can choose any initiative cards you want. You also get a boon on the attack, so an advantage. And the target can neither dodge nor parry. Using a subtle weapon increases the damage by 1 die. For example, 2d8 rather than 1. Ooh. That makes it sort of at least a little bit more straightforward. There's a little bit of admin that you have to work about, but I guess if you wrote it down somewhere, it'll sort of it will make it seem obvious. Ambush, a special kind of a sneak attack, is called an ambush, i.e. lying in wait for an enemy and attacking as it passes by. I will say, a sneak attack, I've had this ambush text before. I'm like, how often are players thinking, right, we're going to ambush the enemies? I can tell you, I can count on one hand the number of times it's come up in in a combat or in a thing, because like, bless them. Even I as a player never think to ambush the enemy. Usually the enemies are ambushing me, so maybe that's why it's important. Excuse me. Ooh. Once you have had your turn around, you can flip the initiative card face down to make it clear that you and everyone else that you have acted. This means you cannot perform any reaction in the round. Wait. So once you've had your turn, so can you not react anytime though? Like, do you have to react before you go? Oh, I don't know about that. Combat can take place entirely in your imagination. However, grid maps are a useful tool in combat. Yeah, but everyone then focuses on them and it's really dull. Doors, walls, and ascents are shown on the map. Complete adventures for Dragonbane include maps of important sites. On the back of the large map in this box is an empty grid which can be used for all kinds of battlefields. Yeah. 5 foot squares? Wait. 2 by 2 meters. Okay. If you're used to combat maps with 5 foot squares, perhaps even own a bunch of so much, you can easily use them in Dragonbane. Okay. Yeah, so they're going for meters over feet. I think they're just not doing it the American way, which is totally fine by me. Ooh, types of terrain. We love a good different type of terrain. We've got cramped, rough, dimly lit. Look at that! Look at that! Look at it! Look at that! Cool ass. That's so cool. Okay. All right. We've drawn initiative. We're in initiative. We're in some sort of battlefield. It's damp. It's cramped. It's rough and it's dimly lit. How do we hit someone? Oh, there's a shove. There's a way to shove people. Your strength damage, if you hit someone with melee attack, and your strength damage bonus is equal to or higher than your opponent's. Boring. Sorry, I really struggle with melee combat. I assume it's easy enough. Like, you know, you're still rolling those d20s and have to get under your weapon proficiency skill. Yeah, pretty much. By rolling a dragon when you attack, you score a critical hit. This means a dragon roll is required to parry or dodge the attack. So you also need to roll a natural 1 then. You may choose... Hang on, this means that a dragon roll is required to parry... Yeah, and you may choose one of the following effects. Roll double the amount of dice for the weapon damage. Immediately perform a second attack against an enemy. This attack is a free action. Ooh, I would love that as an actual... Putting that as a rule in my D&D campaigns, actually. Rather than doubling the damage, I would say you make another attack against the enemy. That sounds really good. Or, armor has no effect against the attack as it finds a gap or weak spot. Okay. I think I would love to have that you perform a second attack instead of double the damage. That's more fun. There are 3 different types of damage. Slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning. Classic damage. Yep. Demon roll. You roll a demon, so that's a natural 20. When attacking in melee combat, you miss your target and cannot push this roll. You might also suffer an additional mishap. Oh no! Roll on the table below. If the roll is unreasonable, the GM decides the effect. It's only a d6, so what have you got? You drop your weapon. You expose yourself to the enemy, who gets a free attack that can't be dodged or parried. You shouldn't be exposing yourselves in the middle of combat. That's like #1 rule of adventuring. Your weapon cuts so deep into an object, it gets stuck. Ooh, I like that. Pulling it free requires a strength roll, which counts as an action. You accidentally toss your weapon 3d plus 3 meters. Nice. You slam your weapon into something hard and damage it. Any use of the item gets a bane until it is repaired by an artisan. You hit yourself by mistake. Roll for damage as usual, but without any damage bonus. Okay, so it's not too bad. Oh, here you go. You hit non-living matter and objects automatically. And you only roll for damage. Great. I hate it when it goes, oh, you want to hit the door? Just roll the damage. I don't have time. Okay, parrying. When attacked in close combat, you can choose to parry the attack with a drawn weapon or shield. Note, you cannot draw a weapon or parry as free actions can only be formed on your turn, so you already have to have the weapon out. You must declare you're going to parry before the attacker rolls. You cannot parry unarmed. It's also impossible to both parry and dodge the same attack. Oh. You can parry while prone. Great. When parrying, roll against your skill level for the weapon. Yep. Parrying is a reaction that breaks the initiative. It replaces your... Oh, right, I understand now. So the reaction isn't a separate action. It is your action. So you can choose to take that blow and then have your action to attack later, or you use your reaction and then you don't go in the initiative. Ooh. God, yeah, that makes combat even more deadly. Very cool. If your parry succeeds, the enemy's attack hits your weapon or shield and you suffer no damage. However, if the damage exceeds your weapon's durability... Oh god, do we have durability in this game? Ugh. The weapon is damaged and cannot be used until it's repaired with a crafting roll. I mean, that's quite a cool cinematic moment for sure. Might get a bit tiresome for your players though, perhaps. Piercing attacks can never damage a parrying weapon or shield. Okay, you'll have to write that down somewhere because I will forget. As a rule, monsters' attacks cannot be parried unless specified otherwise. When successfully parrying an attack, you can move yourself and the enemy 2 meters in any direction. Oh, so a proper swashbuckling type thing. Very cool. Rolling a dragon. So when you roll a dragon to parry, you immediately perform a counterattack on your opponent. Nice. A natural 1 means you get an automatic hit with a weapon that cannot be dodged or parried. Wait. You automatically hit? Brilliant. This does not apply if the attacker rolled a dragon as well. No, that's good. In that case, you just need a dragon to parry and do not get the scepter. Right. I am the knight. Dodging. I am the mallard. Let's see. As an alternative to parrying, you could try to dodge when hit by attack. So you could either parry or dodge. Yep. You must choose one or the other. You can dodge while prone. So it doesn't matter if you're on the floor or not. You can still do it whenever. Okay. You must declare that you are dodging before the opponent rolls for damage. Roll for invade. If you succeed, you take no damage. Yada yada yada. It's reaction, like parrying. I guess the benefit is that you can only parry if you've got a weapon out. Because you can't parry if you're unarmed. So you would normally be dodging. Because otherwise, like, what would be the point? Like, would you not have them separate? But I guess parrying, you have to have a weapon for it. Oh, big box, big box. In addition to simply trying to hit the enemy, there are a few special attacks that you can use in melee combat. You must always declare that you're using a special attack before rolling. Special attacks are resolved by using opposed rolls. Okay. What we've got finding a weak spot, topple, disarm, grapple. Oh, that's it. Sorry, I was like, is there another one? Okay, because that's always the thing. Everyone's always like, oh, I would like to shove them. Can I disarm them? Can I knock them unconscious? And you're like, this should make my life difficult. It's not in the game mechanics because you're expected to fight. You're expected to kill these things. To be successful in melee combat, it's important to realize that your most precious resource is your actions. You only get 1 per round, including reactions such as dodging and parrying. If several player characters are fighting together, it's often effective to focus on the same enemy, as that person can only parry or dodge once, leaving them vulnerable to multi-attacks. But always remember that you too are exposed to attacks after performing your action. Heroic abilities such as defensive and lightning fast significantly increase your ability to defend yourself against multiple opponents. In single combat against an opponent as powerful as yourself, it might be wise to wait and let the enemy strike first. If their attack misses you, you do not need to parry or dodge, and then can perform your own attack when... Wait, and you do not need to parry or dodge. You can then perform your own attack whilst the enemy is unable to protect themselves. The drawback is that you surrender the initiative to your enemy, who may choose a completely different action than what you were expecting. Yes, makes sense. But also, I think, did you not need to say, certainly with the parry, you need to say it before, you have to declare it before the attacker rolls, right? What about dodging? Yeah, you gotta, oh, before they roll for damage. Okay. Rolls for damage. Oh, so when they roll, if they hit you, then you can do it before they roll for damage. Right. Okay. Cool beans. Right, melee out the way. Let's go on to our favourite, ranged combat. Presumably, it's going to be similar. You're stand 2 meters away. Or standing 2 meters away or less gives you a bane. And rolling, and you roll against a skill for the weapon you. What's a demon roll? So let's check these out. Enhance. You drop your weapon at your feet. You run out of arrows and must get more before you can use the weapon again. Reroll for sling or using throwing weapons. You hit a valuable or important item nearby. You break your weapon. You accidentally hit a random player, NPC, or you hit yourself by mistake. Classic fumbles. Fumbles. And then you got ranges for the weapons as well. Cool. Critical hits. So when you roll a dragon, so natural 1, when performing a ranged attack, which means that can only be dodged if it also rolls a dragon. Cool, yeah. But you may also choose one of the following effects. So there's only 2 effects. The weapon's damage is doubled. Or the armor and natural armor have no effect against the attack, and it hits a gap or a weak spot. Okay, I can imagine why you wouldn't get necessarily a second attack, although that, like you do in melee, but I would quite like that. I think that would be quite fun. Parrying a ranged attack requires a shield. Fine. You can dodge range attacks like you do in melee. Cool. If your view of the target is partially obscured by an object or a person, no matter if it's a friend or foe, you get a bane on your attack. On a grid map, you can shoot past a person standing between you and your target, but with a bane, so it's going to be at disadvantage. Okay, so again, it goes back to that DC stuff about you don't have half cover or full cover, you just roll with disadvantage, essentially, getting a bane. Now we come on to our favourite bit, which is damage. Hooray. Rewards are great, but the only thing you know for sure is that you will suffer all sorts of damage along the way. Taking damage reduces your hit points. You've got armor. Armor you're wearing should be written down in the armor section. You shouldn't be anywhere else, otherwise that won't be very good. Some armors will give you bane on certain skill rolls. Will restrict your movement, so yeah, probably stealthing is going to be quite bad. The armor's effectiveness is determined by the armor rating. When you take damage from a physical attack, subtract the armor rating from the damage. If the damage from a melee attack is completely negated, the attacking weapon itself suffers the damage instead, which might break the weapon. Ooh, that's quite cool. Okay, that's a cool thing to keep in mind, that you could always keep reducing stuff depending on how hearty your armor is. Helmets. Your helmets can be combined with a helmet, which further increases your armor rating. Equipping or unequipping a helmet counts as an action. It's constantly like putting it on. But also gives you a bane on using certain skills. Probably your spot hidden one. You can't see anything because your helmet's on too tight. Death. Your HP reaches 0. You drop to the ground and risk dying. Oh, you can't perform or any actions except trying to rally. See below. On your turn, in each subsequent round, you must make a death roll. So it's a roll against your constitution. Can't be pushed unless the optional rule is used. Okay. Record the results of your death rolls on your character sheet. After 3 successful death rolls, you recover D6 hit points. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I guess, yeah, equal to or under your constitution, right? After 3 failed death rolls, your character dies. Rolling a dragon counts as 2 successes, and rolling a demon counts as 2 failures. If the combat ends, keep counting until all the death rolls have been. Yep. And if you take extra damage when you're at 0 hit points, it automatically counts as a failed death roll. Cool. No things. We're not gonna. Rally. Another player character within 10 meters and earshot can persuade you to rally and keep fighting despite having 0 hit points. This counts as an action. If you rally, you can continue acting as normal, but must keep making death rolls as described as above. You can even try rallying yourself, rolling against your willpower with a bane instead of persuasion. Ooh, that's cool. You just pull yourself together, almost like is it that half orc ability, relentless rage? No, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Like you just keep going, and then eventually you just heal over. Also, getting D6 instead of like stabilizing, that's pretty good for. I quite like that as a rule. What else? When you have 0 hit points, another person next to you can save your life with a successful healing roll without bandages. Without bandages, sorry, they get a bane to their roll. Hey, welcome back, Dan. You've called us at a great time. We're talking combat and death. So you missed all the really boring admin, which is fantastic. So you've come to the exciting part. Hope the shops are well. Did you get me a treat? If the roll succeeds, you stop making death rolls and recover D6 hit points. You cannot save your own life in this way, even if you've rallied, which is fair. Rallying is quite fun though. I quite like that as a rule. Are you going to entities to be standard SOs? I totally think you should. I'm saving them all, and I'm thinking about what I should do with them. It's just me chatting to myself and then making odd, weird comments. So, but maybe I'll definitely put them up at YouTube at some point. Instant death. If you don't record negative HP, but if a single attack reduces your HP to a negative score equal to your full HP, your character dies instantly. Time to honour another fallen adventurer and create a nuts to it indeed. Oh, hooray! Look, a severe injury table's our favourite. You've been reduced to 0 hit points, but survive. You risk severe injuries that take a long time to heal and even have permanent effects. I find these tables can have a real. They could be either or, right? I can already see. So yeah, it's broken nose. Okay, fine. And then slowly, like you can see, gorged eye at the bottom there. You're like, lovely. What does it say? The healing time is halved if you rest and get medical care for at least 1 shift per day from a person who makes a healing roll. Ooh, let's see what we've got. Teeth knocked out. Your performance and persuasion skills are permanently reduced by 2. Damn. Concussion? Yeah. Broken leg, broken arms, severed toe. God. I remember years and years ago, I went on a school trip and we went to some sort of army base. Which was great in the sense of like all the girls did not want to go. I wanted to go because it sounded really fun, and we had like rations in the middle of a field. And did some paintballing. That was quite fun. But we had to sign like a disclaimer, like an insurance disclaimer and stuff, and it had like a monetary value depending on what had happened to you. So I think if you died, your family the insurance would pay out £10,000, but if you lost your big toe, that would be £7,000. So I was trying to work out like if I lost all my toes, that would add up to be quite expensive compared to me losing my life. But of course that would affect everything. But it just made me laugh. It's like, oh, your death is definitely this much, but losing your big toe, that's worth a lot. So I'm surprised that's not bigger on the injury table. Heck, what are you gonna do next month? Stay on Twitch? I'll ping you after to see your thoughts. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm just kind of using this as a practice, to be honest with you, Dan, to just see how good I am at actually reading stuff. Because as I was saying before, I was supposed to do a recording tonight and it got cancelled last minute, which is fine, but that meant I had no plans, and I'm someone that just doesn't do well with just sitting at home. And I'd also watched all of Black Mirror, so I thought, I'll just do another one of these. But I don't know, I think ultimately, as long as I can easily put my account to YouTube, because I do have a YouTube account, I could put it up there. Just make sure I can actually see the chat, really. That's the thing, even though currently it's just you. Then at the bottom you've got changed personalities. Randomly generate a new weakness. Okay, that's alright. Rather than like, there was that thing, it was in Tomb of Horrors, you'd go through some mysterious portal and you're like, oh, your gender has changed, as well as your alignment. Ha ha ha! You're now a woman who's chaotic evil. Like, classic D&D, classic Gary Gygax. And then at the bottom, on a 20, amnesia. You can't remember who you are or who the other players are. This effect must be role-played. Oh god, okay. Who are you? Where am I? Oh, but this is the interesting one. Oh, but I pass it instantly. Conditions. We have 6 conditions depending on which condition we tick. Which ability we tick. So we've got exhausted, sickly, dazed, angry, scared, and disheartened. The most common way is that you push your roll, and that's how you get a condition. You can suffer multiple conditions, but you can't have the same one. If you have all 6 conditions, God help you. But instead you lose D6 will points if you suffer another one, and then if you're out of will points, you lose hit points instead. So you're constantly suffering through all this. You can heal 1 condition during your stretch rest. It's possible. There are tools through. Oh heck, you'll see it to break on my end too. Right, I was like, what? Yeah, but we'll get there. Absolutely, Dan. I believe in you if you believe in me. Is that not how the song goes? I can't remember. Healing. You do. I mean, to be fair, you do have something called round rest where you could use your action to quickly rest in that last round. So almost like go take a breather, and during that round you sort of get a D6 hit points but no HP. So if you're trying to like muster up a spell or something, that'd be quite good. You can only do it once per shift, so once per 6 hours essentially. You also get a stretch rest. That's a short rest that lasts for about 15 minutes, and during that time you get a D6 hit points or 2D6 if someone is helping you and succeeds on a healing roll. But the caregiver cannot rest during that time, and they can only heal 1 person per rest. God, caring, man. It's a thankless job. You can also recover D6 willpower as well and heal a condition of choice. If something dramatic interrupts your rest, all the effects are lost. And you can only rest once per shift, so those 6 hours as well. But again, if you're an elf, you get more of that. You just can't be woken up if something happens. If something dramatic happens. I feel like that happens in all of my shift rests, or my stretch rests even. And then finally, 6 hours, the full shift of time, and can only take place in a safe location where there are no enemies nearby. We always have that in the video games, right? You're trying to get to a save point, and it goes, there are enemies nearby. There isn't. Just let me save. God, let me save. I think I had that in Alien Isolation. I was like, I know there's an alien. Please let me save. Oh, my favourite. Other hazards, everyone. Darkness. No parents. Torches. And lanterns. Oh, God, boring. Fear. Ooh. There are many horrifying beasts that lurking in the ruins and forests of Dragonbane. Such creatures can perform so-called fear attacks. Well, that is horrifying. Fear attacks can also be triggered by magic and other terrifying experiences. When struck by a fear attack, you must immediately make a roll against your willpower. The roll can be pushed, optional roll, and doesn't count as an action. Particularly frightful events can give you a bane on the roll. If the willpower roll fails, you must roll on the fear table on the next page. Well, that sounds incredible, but also terribly scary. Poisons, mentioned by potency. So that's probably like potency. Yeah, that's similar to the virile roll that you have to do in Alien. I guess you have these different potencies, like 9 there for weak 1, moderate for 12 for a moderate, 15 for that one. Wait, you have to go roll over? Oh, hang on. Whenever you ingest a poison, as you do, the GM makes an open roll between the potency and your con. If the poison wins, you suffer the full effect. If you win, you only suffer the limited effect. Oh, right. Okay, yes, that's what the opposed rolls do. Yeah, you got to. It's equal to or under. I remember. I remember that. Oh, but that's another good example of an open opposed roll rather than just. Oh, so you get lethal poison, paralyzing poison, or sleeping poison. Pick your poison, so to speak. Disease. When you're exposed to a dangerous disease, you make an open roll against the disease virulent disease rating and your constitution. Is this on? Oh, that's the fear table there. Is there others? I thought there'd be like examples of diseases, but clearly not. Does syphilis not exist in the Misty Vale? Those mallards are getting around. Falling. Swimming and drowning. No, not if you're playing a mallard. Fine. Let's see this fear effect table. Enfeebled. The fear drains your energy and determination. Lose 2d6 willpower. Become disheartened. Oh, you get to. Oh, I see. The fear stuff you get conditions for. Oh, that's quite scary. Shaken. Panting? Yes, exhaust. Okay. I was like, panting? Pale. Your face turns as white as a sheet. You and all the character players within 10 meters of sight of you become scared. Oh, damn, that's one that affects everyone. That's that's a bugger if you're playing if you're in your group. Scream. You scream in horror, which causes all the other character players who are around you to immediately suffer a fear attack as well. Each person only ever needs to make one will roll to resist the same fear attack. Rage. Your fear turns to anger, and you are forced to attack its source on your next turn in melee combat if possible. Also become angry. Paralyzed. You become petrified with terror and unable to move. You cannot perform any action or movement on your next turn. Make another will roll on each subsequent turn, not an action, to break the paralysis. To break the spell. Finally, wild panic. In a fit of utter panic, you flee the scene as fast as you can. On your next turn, you must dash away from the source of your fear. Make another will roll on each subsequent turn, not an action, to run to stop running and act normally again. Which one were you today? I think I was enfeebled today. But often I'm in a wild panic on my fear table. That cool is she says, completely skipping it. I like how this is the hungry page. Hungry, yeah. Cold, yes. Sleep deprivation, yes. Okay. Usuals. Riding animals. Boring. Yeah. Improvising weapons. That's a cool image at the bottom there. That was a bit of an image. Where was that, I wonder? Complete adventures can feature new and unique improvised weapons that connect to certain adventure sites. Oh, that's quite cool. Again, that flavor idea for it. Oh, here we go. Oh, look at, there we go. Here we go. Have that as a bookmark. Have that on your wall. That's me telling the academics that I can't do their PowerPoint presentation. What? I put in slide transitions. Okay. What time is it? 2 hours. God. Bless you for if you're staying. Oh, zoom in. Schools of magic. We've talked about this. There are 3 kinds. There is the animism, which is the one about spirits, the elementalism, and then mentalism, and then at the bottom, general magic or general studies magic, as I'm going to call it. Each school of magic is a separate secondary skill. You don't get base chances of magic skills that you're not training, even as a mage. Makes sense. Spells. Oh, spells are divided into ranks, which indicates how complex and powerful they are. As a mage, you start with only rank 1 skills and can learn higher rank spells during the game. Spells are complicated, and the maximum number of spells you can hold prepared in your memory is the same time. At the same time, is equal to your base chance for intelligence. Yeah, it makes sense if you're having this. Oh, so can you prepare skills whenever? Oh no, you need to study them. That's what it says here. Takes a shift of time, regardless of the number of spells. It can be done in a shift, so you can only prepare skills that you have learnt. Mark them. Okay, so D&D is a little bit different now from what I remember. That's good that you can change spells fairly easily. You don't have to wait for like a level up or something. Most mages have a grimoire. And newly created mages automatically get one. Record all the spells you know. Recording one spell takes a shift of time, and you can record unready spells as well. If you lose your grimoire, like the damn dingus that you are, you cannot prepare the spells you kept in it. Oh no, it's all the notes. Sorry, I realised it was not fully full screen then. That's my bad. To be able to use the unprepared spells again, you must first get a new grimoire and record these spells in it. Oh, so you've got to get yourself down to Mage's Paper Chase and get yourself a nice new diary planner. So-called magic trick. So I saw this word earlier, and I assume this is basically cantrips, etc. I just always feel like that's. Let me show you my party trick. Get a card, pick a card, any card, you know. These are simple, relatively harmless spells. These are simple spells to train their minds to handle magical powers. Each school has its own magic tricks, and the limit of prepared spells does not apply to them. Your magic tricks are always prepared. have a quick look. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Oh, we've got requirements here, so this is going to be slightly different. Or it's different wording than the usual verbal, somatic components, etc. So we've got word. Spell is activated with a word or a chant. Gesture, activated with making specific hand movements. I would always encourage players to do that, by the way. Finger tapping? I can never do it. I can't do it. I'm not skilled enough to do it. But I always think that magic, anything with gestures or like movement components, whatever, you should, because that'll be really. Focus is activated with an item held in your hand, such as a wand, crystal ball, or amulet, and an ingredient, a certain ingredient, which is consumed in the process. Yeah. Oh, power from the body. What's this? You have 0 willpower left. You can draw power from your own body if need be, but this is harmful, potentially lethal. Roll a die of your choice, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, before casting a spell. The result indicates how much willpower points you gain and must use straight away, but it also that same amount of damage. Holy shit! Willpower points not used is immediately lost. Ooh, that's a dangerous one though. Danger. Liked it though. That could be quite fun. Metal has an anti-magical effect, which means that you cannot use magic if you are wearing metal armor or have a metal weapon in. I didn't. Ooh. Casting time. We've got here how long it lasts for. Range. Areas of effects. Right, but here's the important thing: like failure, dragons, and demons. So. If it fails, the spell has no effect, but you spend the willpower points. That makes sense. Feel free to describe how the failure manifests itself in the story. I keep forgetting. Absolutely no difference. Like, one day I'll have actual space and I can put up a light. Ring light. I used to have a ring light in my old place, or I used to have like a desk that had like a shelf, and I used to have my mic on there and everything like that, and it was just great because then I could put everything behind it, but I don't have it in this place. Rolling a dragon, so if I rolled a natural 1, which is a good thing in this game, when you cast a spell that, the target must roll a dragon to resist, parry, or dodge the spell. I may choose one of the following effects, so either the damage is doubled, or the range is doubled of the spell. The spell does not cost any willpower points. That's pretty good. You can immediately cast another spell, but get a bane on the roll. See, I wish those last two, you could put that in any game. I said this before when rolling a dragon for like melee. It's like, yes, you could double the damage, that'd be great. But what if you get to roll another attack? What if you get to, like, what if it doesn't cost you a spell slot? That would be really interesting. I quite like that, because it's just like, that's really cool, rather than like, oh, get some extra damage or something. Like getting another attack, or get another attack in. I guess there's more chance of failing on that front. But I'll always be accent. If you roll a demon, you can't push the roll. There's also a risk of something going terribly wrong. See the optional rule for magical mishaps below. Oh, I guess it's a wild magic table. Let's see. Okay. Ooh, you lose control of the spell, which makes you very angry. I think I would always take the condition angry first, no matter what I was doing. Like, are you hungry? Yes, I'm now hangry. Another random spell of yours is activated instead of the one you cast with the same target and power level. That could be fun. Number 10, rolling number 10, that could be really, really fun. Alright, Dan, no worries. Don't hurt yourself with the pasta. Let's see, what else? You vomit a frog the moment you tell a lie. What? Roll a d4 every morning. On a 1, the effect wears off. It can also be lifted with Dispel. No, that's happening forever. So that's cool. Those first 10 seem to be in combat stuff, what you do right now. And then these next 10, they're clearly other things that can happen like randomly. So any gold or silver you touched withers and turns into dust. Cool. The spell blinds you and you act as if in complete darkness. You are struck by amnesia and forget who you are, neither plays. Oh, damn, that's a damn one for 14. The spell also affects a friend or an unintended item. Healing or helping spell affects an enemy. Spell fires. It affects you instead of the intended target. You turn into an animal! And that's number 7. And then you have to roll a d4 every morning. Oh, that's really cool. You become one category younger, one category older. And then on 20, your magic attracts a demon from another dimension. Oh, shoot. I would keep this. I keep this magical mishaps table maybe a secret from the players, so that because as soon as they hear that there's a demon coming, they're like, "Ah, oh, damn it." All right. Let's see. Yeah, learning magic. We're going to that general magic. Okay, let's give an example. So, is dispel a general magic thing? That seems really powerful, considering that. Right, go back up. You can lift things with a dispel. Lift certain curses with a dispel. I don't know. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see. Oh, so these are I see. Dispel is a general. Oh wait, Dispel is rank 1. I understand now. So yes, that is still a rank 1 spell, but it's a general one that anyone can take. Yeah, here's some other ones. You get 7 in total for the 7. Yeah, 7 in total from the general school. Clearly 1 for each rank. Cool. Oh wait, I've missed it. So, yeah, here's the I'm being in it. Here's the magic tricks. Fetch, flick, light, open close, repair close. Cool. You make a loose object fly to you. 10 meters. Okay. Ooh, that one, that's a catapult one, the flick one. You give an object or creature within 10 meters a magical flick. At 1 point of damage, for example, can shatter glass. So I'm imagining you like, boop, you boop them on the nose. Okay. What if I was part of the other one? Of the spirit. Such a good. What magic tricks can we do with animism? 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 I don't know. Bird song? You're surrounded by lovely bird song for one stretch of time. Ooh, gives you a boon to awareness. This trick only works outdoors. Hairstyle. You change the color, length, and the style of your hair as you see fit. In some situations, this can give you a boon to bluffing social pros. Imagine you're like, oh my god, that guy's got incredible hair. Very cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Engulfing forest. Ooh. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different ones for that first school. What for element? Oh, puff of smoke. Oh, an impressive puff of smoke erupts in front of you. Very popular for dramatic entrances and can give you a boon to sneaking into certain situations as determined by the GM. Love that. That's brilliant. Oh, you only get 3 of those for that one. For that, the free sort of counters for that. 6, 7, 8. That's badass. Absolutely badass. 11, 13, 15. Yeah, I guess all the big schools, those Browns colleges are going to get 15. Finally, mentalism. Ooh, magic stool. You create a round surface roughly half a meter in diameter and height, which you can sit on or put things on. The effect lasts a week. I mean, you that that's actually, I would love. I literally have a table right next to me, which I put all my junk on. So yeah, 100% would use that. And then we've got 1, 5. Oh, another fist one. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, only 13 on that one? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, only 13. Maybe these ones are a bit more powerful, perhaps. Well, there's less creatures that are resistant. That's really cool. I hadn't seen that image before. Gear. Oh, I'm not going to look at it too deeply because I'm sure it's going to tell me all the different bits of gear. That's a great. I love. Yeah. Maybe I should describe more blacksmiths and merchant shops of like having it like when you have hanging cutlery, utensils and stuff in the kitchen. maybe having that, and then maybe having the rope to pull it up and down and stuff. That would be pretty cool. There we go. So yeah, I can already see we don't need to look at too much detail. You can look at this in your own time. But about getting different art of Warhammer heavy or light, sir? Ranged. Musical instruments. What musical instruments can we get? A bagpipe, a drum, a flute, a harp, a horn, or a triangle? Oh, rubbish. I did read that just then as Fiend Kitchen, which wouldn't have been helpful. Ooh, perfume, 10 doses. Well, no need to go to Boots for me. Ooh, of course, you need different types of arrows. Ones with iron heads and ones with wooden heads, because you know you don't want to take a wooden-headed arrow to an iron-headed arrow fight. Oh, of course you've got your magic abilities as well. Yeah. Light sources. Well, you know, a candle over a torch. Tools. Yeah. Containers. Oh well, you got your basket. Medicines. Services. Ooh, I hadn't heard of this one. Have a bath. Goblet of wine. If you want a goblet of wine with your bath, do you want a haircut as well? You could. I can see there's certain effects here. Ooh, I like this. Message. Yeah. Lodging at an inn, separate room. This shift can be had without making a bushcraft roll. Oh, I guess I might have missed it in that section, but yeah, doing a roll for a skill when you're outside the wilderness. Pugmire does that quite a bit as well. Bloody hate it. No thanks. I would just do a spot hidden to see if there's any enemies and stuff. Or make them roll for it, like a random roll. Tankard of mead. Wine costs more than mead. I feel like, I guess... Ooh. After drinking 3 tankards of mead in one shift, each additional tankard causes a condition of your choice. Oh, angry. And exhausted. Oh, okay, more stuff. Hunting and fishing, means of travel, animals. What animals? Ooh, can we get... Ooh, that was a surprise there. Ooh, cows, donkeys, guard dogs, homing pigeon in cage. It's very human or humanoid based, isn't it? Very much fantasy, medieval fantasy. None of this sort of like, what if you want to ride on a giant worm? Oh, alright. Bestiary. Bestiary? Bestiary. What a cracking... Again, would like that on a wall somewhere. Maybe have that on the toilet, you know, like a toilet art. Make sure you flush. And it's explaining how to use monsters. Ferocity. They can act multiple times in a round. So that's the initiative. The ferocity score equals their initiative. Good. Different sizes you can have. Oh, swarm there. That's always good. Movements, monster attacks. More dangerous monsters. The monsters in this chapter are typical species. There are legends of dreadful beasts that are even more dangerous. The GM can make monsters even more or less dangerous to suit the player's competence. What about to suit the GM's competence? The easiest way to do this is to increase or decrease the ferocity, but the HP can also be adjusted as well. Cool. That's cool. It's just much quicker, and therefore we'll get a couple more cards for it. Brilliant. I love that. Unities. Imagine going down the forest and you see that in the road. You're like, no, turn around, lads. We're not going to be here anymore. Ah, so this comes before when we might summon a demon. So demons are mysterious, terrifying creatures from the grim world beyond. Like dragons, they have sprung upon from ancient magic and driven by this same insatiable, arrogant hunger for power that also burns in the hearts of dragons. They view dragons as mortal enemies and despise all other creatures lesser, as lesser. Ooh. Essentially insignificant life forms. They have a destructive effect on the structures of the world and seek to destroy all that is fixed. From social relationships to peace treaties, friendships to nations, civilizations, and cosmic law. I mean, all shapes and styles. Ooh, so hello, this is a very typical Free League thing, where you, the GM, do not have to think about what the monster does. You simply roll a d6, or what I do, I get the players to roll a d6, and then that determines what they can do. This one looks a bit more complicated than the ones I've seen before, but that's pretty... Ooh, a fear attack on that first roll. But yeah, I'm a big fan of pre-created attack tables that you could pick per se, but it's always more fun. Always more. Dragons. Here we go. The other side of the coin. Dragons are vicious reptilian beasts that mainly found in rugged mountainous areas. Ooh. When they build their dens in deep caverns or abandoned dwarven mines. They are ancient beings of power and magic and who consider themselves the true masters of the world. Dragons are cunning and often often scarily eloquent, notorious for deceiving their victims with fair words and treacherous lies. On the other hand, they are as vain as peacocks and themselves susceptible to silver-tongued flattery. I would get nowhere with them. Another weakness is their attraction to gold, which often causes conflicts with dwarves, humans, and others who share draconic lust. Another d6. Oh, brutal. See that fire breath at the bottom. Armor has no effect. What? What other ones do we have? We have ghosts. That's a scary image of a ghost. And you can see some immunities there. That's pretty cool. What else do we have? I'll scroll through. Giants. Yep. Very good. Arachnophobia warning there, guys. Sorry. That is a horrible, horrible image. Very good. Goblins. Excellent. Yeah, I would totally get rid of that intolerant weakness from earlier. That's did not like. Griffins. Harpies. Oh, demonetized instantly. Great. That manticore. How big is that manticore? Oh, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Manticores in general are just terrifying creatures. Fail. Terrifying. And minotaurs. God. It's like almost like a Pokemon battle happening here, folks. Orcs. It's understood. Okay, you got two coming up there. Trolls. Well, trolls are weird. Even in Nordic folklore, they are pretty cool. Is it Troll Hunter? Recommend that film because that's terrifying. That scares me. I think there's a TV show of that as well. Whites. Love them. Like I said, I hope you get standouts or standees of all these creatures, like at least a one of them, because I bet they look super cool. And maybe they are adjusted for size as well. Vampire bats. Oh, common animals. The classic, your fox, your dog, your cat, etc. I guess that's the only swarm one, right? Yeah. I assume there will be other examples of swarm one. And then you have adventures at the end, which I won't really go into. I'll just have a quick skim to see what we've got. We'll go quickly. It's a mishap. Oh, I guess this is telling you how you would journey and stuff. We talked about this a little bit in the One Ring, where you would have an actual person. Everyone has a role in it. I guess this one maybe a little less so. Let's have a quick look. So I don't want to spend too long on it. It's getting quite late. I didn't realize how late it was. Yeah. Again, it's a very simple mechanic. It's rolling equal to or under, right? There's that. Mishaps on the road. Gotta love that. Oh, mosquito swarm. Oh no, the worst kind. Quicksand. Oh shoot, the ground collapses. Making camp. So this will be the bushcraft rolls, I'm guessing, from before. All the good stuff. And then game roll and what you need to do for that. Cool. I would actually have this as a separate book myself. That you could give the first bit to place. Like I'd separate all this out into separate books. Creating NPCs. Oh, cool. So there's a way to roll NPCs as well. And creating adventures as well. Super duper. I'm just going to quickly flip through the rest of it. Okay, back. Well, Dan, I think we're about to finish, my friend, because the rest of it is all like generating stuff for you with the GM and stuff, so which is always good. Look, and you can even generate a quest as well. It gets harder and harder. In the gloom of a tavern. One day. Oh, that's quite cool. Like, you can actually make a story out of it. Proper story spine of it. That's cool. maybe I should do that. And like I said, I think next week. So I was supposed to do this stream next week rather than this week, but actually, I am tempted to do the solo RPG, the solo adventure that comes the starter set. So that might be something of interesting. But I think it already comes with a quest, so I don't have to roll anything. Thank God. I actually hate rolling as a. The journey is easy with plenty of time for song and camaraderie. No, not in my adventures. No time for song. No time for friendships. The way is easy. No one has locked the door. Idiot. Campaigns. Ooh, excellent image. Yeah, would not want to meet him. I'd like him on my side. This person on my side, rather than the other way around. And then an index. Well, there you go. That is the end of Dragonbane. The quick, incredibly brief overview of the rules. Overall, I think it's a really good setting. It's got a really good rules. Essentially, it's equal to or under. If you've played Call of Cthulhu, that is exactly what it is. It's also similar to the Star Trek adventures, where rolling lower is good, and also having those extra benefits. If you roll a 1 or a 20, so either a dragon or a demon, that's coming to play as well. Some of the rules I actually really like. I like that idea that if in combat you roll a dragon, you can get an extra attack. I love getting those mishap tables as well. Some of it I would definitely change. Some of it I'm still a bit icky about the certain phrasing and certain things. And I know we're in a time where RPGs are still trying to find the right words for stuff. I think like kin is actually a really good word, and it really replaces the sort of issues around the term race. Certainly better than species. That's a story for another time. Hey, D&D. Let's call them kin. Let's call them lineage. Let's call them something that gives them respect, as if they're like actual people, because we're playing them like actual people. I think what I liked about this is that clearly there is bits of this that is steeped in that nostalgia we were talking about at the beginning, but it feels like there's enough of it to make it refresh and really interesting for people such as myself, who's not really played any Drakhdamor from the beginning, and it feels very accessible again with that mechanic and creative stuff, and the artwork's really cool. I'm going to be a mallard, as what's going to happen in that solo RPG. I'm going to be a mallard. Pasta has been consumed. Excellent, Dan. Well, I hope you didn't damage your face in the process. But yeah, that is kind of it. So next week I'm thinking about doing a couple of streams, probably straight after work. That'll be 5 p.m. BST time. I think Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. No, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday was the plans, because the other days I'm in. There's bloody a team. It was supposed to be a team away day, but due to budget reasons and due to scheduling errors, it is a team in afternoon day, where we all have to sit around looking really bored and probably a very hot office. So unfortunately, can't do all things. But I've been really enjoying this. I actually enjoy reading through. I actually feel kind of productive, and I appreciate people out there listening to me going, what is she on about? But I hope somebody out there is like, watch this and goes, oh, Dragonbane sounds really cool. I do think it's really interesting. I think it's one of my favourite Free League games that's come out recently. And if you find other games like Alien or Tales from the Loop or Blade Runner maybe not accessible to you, whether it's because of the IP itself, it's like, it's nothing for me. This, I think, is a nice way, because it focuses on like a nice big fantasy setting, which is removed enough from Dungeons and Dragons. I would say that, and the mechanics super, super easy on that. Gross. I agree. Don't know what that's in refer to, but that is it. Cool. All right, folks. I'm going to change to the big cam. Whoa. Thank you so much. I hope you've been having a lovely Friday evening wherever you are. I'm going to go get myself a Dr. Pepper. Treat myself to not speaking for like, I don't know how long to speak for. Over 3 hours? No, 2 hours and a bit. Ugh, no one needs to hear that again. But thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Play more games. If you want, I've got a podcast. It's called What Am I Rolling, where I do lots of tabletop RPG stuff. Not yet done Dragonbane. Maybe next week, if I get the audio okay from Twitch, all right, I will put it out on the podcast if that is interesting to folk. What else is coming up? We've got Die the RPG, which has been one of my favourite games to run. Spoilers, any favourite game of mine always ends in tears. Tears of joy. But I did have a little bit of a cry on that one, because that was really good. Very emotional, so lots of trigger warnings on that one. We've also got an interview with Kieran Gillen coming up from as well, who I met recently at UK Games Expo, who was very lovely, and he said, "You are much taller in real life," and I went, "Thank you, Kieran." And then I was awkwardly left. And then I'm also the co-host of the DM's Book Club, where myself, and Hamilton, my wonderful co-host, talk about D&D and what we like about it, most importantly, what we don't like about it, and how we would improve on it. At time of recording, tomorrow, good old Hamilton's coming up to London town, and he is ditching the family to come hang out with me. We're going to go buy some minis together, which is going to be super cute. We're then going to get a Five Guys. And then my hope was that I was going to get my recorder and for us awkwardly to record ourselves in Five Guys or in Dark Spheres, where we're heading as well. So that'll be really fun, and that should be out on the podcast as well. So looking forward to that. Oh, thank you, Dan. Thanks for coming. Film it, please. Film it with what, Dan? Film it with what? I'll take some photos. I'm sure we can take some photos, and I'm sure we can. Hamilton will probably talk to me about Warhammer, and I will slowly die a small death inside. All right, cool. Well, much love. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next time as I awkwardly wave to turn off the screen. End the stream. Bye.